Here we go.
Cut the fix up with some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you on a Forza, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down. Cut the fix up with some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you on a Forza, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down.
Somewhere over the rainbow. I don't know why I decided to sing that. Hey, everybody. For those who are coming in late, those who are coming in after the show, and for those of you who might be lurking right this very minute, which I doubt, welcome to The Fix. I'm a little behind. I overslept. My apologies. I'm posting the advert as we speak. I'm doing it live. As Bill O'Reilly would say, I'm doing it live. So, yes, thank you all for being here or coming through, however you catch this. We have a good show tonight. We're going to be discussing, obviously, the Nintendo Direct that just happened. It showcased the Nintendo Switch 2 and some unprecedented pricing that might negatively influence gaming. We are joined tonight by our good brother, Crusader. And yes, go ahead, Crusader, please.
I insisted that I be on tonight.
He hit me up. He said, I desire to be on.
I desire to be on the Fix this week.
And I quote. I was like, why not? I did need a guest. I was going to ask. And he hit me up. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Perfect. So we got my brother Crusader here with us. Thank you for joining us, my brother. Tell the good folks what you've been up to, what you have been doing.
Yeah. So I haven't been playing a ton on my Xbox recently because I got a brand new 32-inch 4K 120 Hz OLED monitor for my computer, which I also do use for my Xbox and my PS5. But I got this bad boy, and I have been beta testing a massive Skyrim mod pack called Nulvis. It's for their 6th version. It is the mod pack is 180 gigs when it is fully installed.
I have that installed. I've tried it, and it is gorgeous.
Yeah. It's real buggy right now. I mean, it is an open beta. It is fully in an open beta, and we're basically trying to go through and help the pack author find, like things that are clipped wrong, find things that are causing crashes or quests that aren't completing, so that they can create some custom patches and stuff like that to get stuff working. And I've been helping to test the controller support that's going to be coming to it. That's been a lot of fun.
I was going to say, so I tried that mod maybe late last year sometime. Well, if not earlier this year, I forget. But I installed it and I used Nexus mods to do the heavy lifting. Yeah, I didn't have to do all that extra work by just signing up to them.
Vector, the mod author Vector has created a custom installer that you just kind of sync your Nexus account with, and it auto downloads everything for you. You don't have to follow a basic instruction sheet. Like, you have to have Microsoft's C++ redistributable, which a lot of people have installed already for other games. Like Steam usually installs it for you if the game requires it. You need to have that installed. And there's some other instructions that they tell you to set up for optimizations on your computer. But yeah, it like fully auto installs everything for you. There's almost no work. I'm doing a little bit of work because I'm helping to test the controller support, which isn't in the full official build of the pack yet, but it will be in by the time that it is fully at its like stable release.
Yeah, for sure. And this Novus thing is incredible because you can do so much more with it than I have done.
Yeah.
If you all look it up on like YouTube videos, they have like things that can change the weather styling, the graphical preset to the world in general. You can
There's
have a more different color palettes and things like that. However, you might want to approve of it.
There's a
Character
full season
redesigns.
system.
Yeah, all of that.
So like the seasons as they pass in game, like when you wait, you could see that like there was seasons and days of the week and stuff like that. It actually does impact the actual season of the game world. So that you will see snow where like snow wasn't before, stuff like that. There's almost like double the amount of base game content added with like what are essentially DLCs that are just straight up mods that people have made. I've played through a lot of them before standalone outside of this, but like it's all together in one pack. The perk trees have been completely redone. They're significantly more massive. There's a stances system, like a lot of modern hack and slash games, where you can take different stances with your weapons. There is a poise system, and like the combat itself has been overhauled with completely new animations for both the character and all the NPCs. Hundreds of new armor sets and things like that. It's incredible, I've been helping to beta test that.
Yeah, it really is incredible. Like I was blown away, and it's like it's a remaster of Skyrim without it being an official remaster.
Basically,
yeah, it's really really crazy. 2,000, I think 2,000 plus files that comes with that thing. Yeah, I was like, whoa,
3,600 some plugins.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
So that includes base game plugins. So like the base game is a plugin. Each of the DLCs for the game was a plugin, and like each of the Creation Club stuff is a plugin. But it has 3,600 overall plugins loaded.
Yeah. Yep. It took a while for it to download, and then it got everything situated. But it was worth trying out. Speaking of that, I still got that thing on my my gaming PC. I need to delete that off since I haven't been playing. There's a lot of memory.
It's a lot of space. It's a lot of space.
Well, that said, and let me go to my co-star, Daniel J. McGee.
What's up?
Danny, my brother, what have you been up to? What have you been playing, watching, et cetera, et cetera?
So I just put up the Sims episode of Ready Set Replay on my other podcast and YouTube channel and Spotify and all that. It has already kind of blown up. It's like it's already like I think our most watched video on YouTube.
Nice.
I'm really proud of it. So that one's going really well. I'm really happy with that. As for what I have been doing this week in terms of gaming, not a ton, unfortunately. But while I was working on other things, I have now officially watched all 47 seasons of Survivor within the last calendar year.
Wait, not
You
this
did what?
year, right? Not this
No.
year.
Since this time last year,
Okay.
I have watched all 47 seasons of Survivor as
I
of
was
yesterday.
Going to say, ain't no damn
I rewatched season 40, or finished rewatching season 45 last night.
Okay. At first I thought you were saying you rewatched everything this year. I'm like, damn.
No, God, no. It's been like 90 days. That would be like 5 episodes a day. I love that show. It's really good. There are a couple people and a couple seasons that I don't love as much, but the last like 5-6 seasons have all been so good. So good. Very happy with it.
You are obsessed. Is that fair to say? You are obsessed with this show?
It's like a comfort show for me. So when I'm doing just like other things, it's a show that I throw on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
You're very passionate about it.
I mean, look,
Yeah, that's a good thing. Have you had a chance to game anything to play?
Not, I mean, I have, but like nothing that I've finished. I've played more of Avowed. I did a couple hunts in Monster Hunter. I did a little bit of the new Fortnite season. You know, it's been a lot of just like sort of picking and choosing. I genuinely haven't finished anything.
Okay. All right. As for myself, more of the game that you guys see on screen now with the Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I am loving. It's not often that I can say that for every game, but some games just don't capture well, even with what I'm showing here. You have to see it for yourself to understand how beautiful this game is, this world, how great the weather effects are, especially the rain. When it's like it's a heavy downpour or something like that, it's insane. The sound effects are great with it. All of that. I love the combat. I don't think it's like reinventing anything, but I think it's pretty solid. The world is gigantic. That could be a plus or a negative for you, depending on who you are. But if you stick to just like getting through the game and the story itself, and maybe some side missions, I think you'll be fine. Even if you're kind of adverse to large worlds. And I had been playing some South of Midnight, so I got a bit of that in today, maybe about 2 hours worth of that. I actually did capture footage for it, but I didn't get a chance to bring it over and store it on this PC properly, so I'm just going to show it next week. It is what it is. Also, too, I wanted to do a giveaway for it and as AC Shadows this week, but got behind on that too, so I'll do that next week. Yes, the AC Shadows giveaway, thanks to a community member, Felix, and it should be for the South of Midnight from a friend. I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I won't say it just yet. Next week as well, and if he gives the okay, I'll mention his name. Yeah, so anyway, that's really been up for me. Yeah, Danny, what do we have in the news this week?
Not too much other than the big Nintendo Direct one. But a couple of little small things here. We've got hey, remember that game Intergalactic? The really long subtitle that no one really remembers. It's like Heretic Prophecy or something. Hey, it's not coming out in 2026 anymore. Naughty Dog came out and they had originally said it was going to come out in 2026, and apparently now it is expected to miss that window.
I didn't think it would be coming out next year, though.
No, I didn't either, but here we are. Here we are proven right so fast.
Yeah, was that Oh, it was straight up Neil Druckmann who said it.
Yeah.
What the heck? I thought that was a report from Jason Schreier.
I think it was both, but yes.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, okay. It looks like it was an interview.
Yeah. So it looks like if you guys were looking forward to that, you'll have a little bit longer to be looking forward, because it's not anytime soon. So here's hoping that PlayStation put out a game in 2026 challenge starts now.
PlayStation put out a game in the next few years challenge. Impossible.
Honestly, I'm expecting Ghost of Yotei to come out in 2026 at this point, to be honest. So that'll be their game next year.
I think they're still saying they're on track for this year, but
they've lied to us before.
Yeah.
It's all going to depend on where it's falling versus where GTA 6 ends up falling.
Oh, exactly.
Like if they're going to fall around the same place, it may even be able to launch this year, and they may move it just to avoid GTA.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be a death for it if it did, for sure.
I would expect that.
Yeah.
In other news,
we'll see what happens with it, but
yeah,
I will say that just thinking of that, cadence-wise, Microsoft will have had 4 or 5 games this year, 6 games.
Yeah.
Party. And had this been Microsoft, I don't think the press would have been too kind to them not having any major releases all this time.
No, absolutely not. But where are they now?
Right.
Where are they now? Silent. taxing South of Midnight, as it turns out.
Tax season is open.
Tax season is in full effect.
Right.
Yeah, because so South of Midnight reviews are up. And it
What
currently
they
has a
looking like?
78. It's a 78 across the board. 78 on Open and 78 on Metacritic. So both of them at
Not
78.
bad. You know, it's funny because the score for Meta, I believe it dipped down to 74 at a point.
Yeah, it was at 74 when I first saw it, and OpenCritic was at 82, and they both sort of
balanced out,
come to the middle at 78.
Yeah, so 78 is respectable. I mean, that's basically an 8, right? Roughly.
Yeah. But everyone whose opinion that I trust who's been talking about it is speaking a lot higher of it than 78. And then you read some of the reviews, some of the negative ones, and I won't give their publication the air of me saying their name, but a lot of them actually are like, well, it's a really good game, but like, I don't know, this is just exactly the kind of game that we expect from Xbox. Like, it's not good enough. And you're like, okay. So what you're saying is you just don't like Xbox. That's all right. That's cool. I don't know why we're here.
Yeah.
I don't know why I am
I don't
reading your words now.
Yeah, it's like, what type of critique is that? It's like the kind of game you expect from Xbox. It's like they said, let's sprinkle some Microsoft dust on it or something. Like, no, they didn't force them to make this game. They made it how they wanted to make it.
Yeah, the only like consistent, respectable criticism that I've seen is that apparently the combat is like kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no one says it's bad necessarily. They just say it's like kind of lackluster, which is
it's
fair.
lackluster and repetitive.
Yeah. I heard repetitive too, and then I was talking to some buddies who played through it, and they said, well, I don't get the repetitive claim, and I think they're right too. I think it makes some sense. Like, I mean, it can still be repetitive, but their point was that the game is roughly 12 hours, if you get through it quick enough, roughly 12 hours. Depending on how you play. Some were like 15 hours. So they said, well, how repetitive could it get in just 12 hours of game? It's not like you're playing a 30-hour game or a 40-hour, or 50-hour, 60-hour. Like, it's 12 hours, and it still can be repetitive, I guess. But they said that they didn't really feel that way until like the last chapter or two. So I don't know if that's really a salient complaint. You know what I mean?
I haven't tried it yet. I'm not gonna play it until it's actually out. I'm not interested enough to pay for the early access.
I hear you.
But I will say that when it comes to some things in games, there are some things where I do them like twice in a game, and I'm like, I'm done. And I'm not to speak to, I'm not speaking directly to South of Midnight, but there are some things where as soon as I do it a second time, I'm just like, oh, okay. I get a lot of I had a lot of stuff like that in like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as like doing the second like stacking of the stones. I was like, I'm already done with this, and I have to do this like 13 more times for an achievement. Same thing with the like haiku baths in what was it, Ghost of Tsushima. I was like, I'm done.
Well, if you feel that way for that, you're probably going to have a problem with Shadows. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I know. So I have a couple friends who have been playing Shadows, and I know there's a couple things that are.
They have something that's similar to the.
I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's more engaging though. It's much more engaging because you have to do button prompts and such. Well, you can turn it off, I guess.
Sure.
But it is similar in a way. Yeah.
I bought Shadows, and I am intending to start it soonish.
Yeah, I will say this though, because some people make a big thing out of it. Oh well, you got to do this, we got all this stuff. It's really what you make of it. If you don't want to do that nonsense, you don't have to.
First of all, I don't got to do anything.
You ain't got to do a damn thing. So. If you don't choose to do that, if it's annoying, if it's like, I don't care to do that, don't do it. Just stick to the
achievement hunter in me will.
That's my problem. That's my problem. The achievement.
That you brought that to the table. You can't blame that on the game. That's you.
The serotonin demon that lives inside my brain.
Yeah, these are my issues on display.
Will insist that to get its fix that it needs me to.
Yeah, I completely trust me. I understand it because that's my problem, but. The way I look at it too is that I paid as much as I paid for it because I got the deluxe, and I usually don't do that. I'm going to get all of my money's worth, so it is what it is for me.
For sure.
Quick shout out to everybody in the chat. I didn't say that at first. Shout out to our good brother MJ Dark, who says hello everyone. I am here to smoke Daniel McGee for any Switch 2 slander.
You better get the smoker out because there's gonna be slander.
There's gonna be lots of slander tonight, boys.
Oh boy, listen, I wanted to try to balance it out. I asked if others could join in who were more down for what they saw. Because
they're in hiding.
I knew it wasn't going to be very pleasant. The reception tonight.
Straight down the middle.
Nope.
But like when I say I'm straight down the middle, it's not that like I took the average route. It's that there are a lot of great things, a lot of holy fuck what.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to, Umbra. You're gonna have to play Angel's Advocate because me and Crusader are going devil mode.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to play the good angel here for the show tonight. I mean, I think maybe I do kind of grade. I think more of on a curve than you do, Danny. I think you're much more strict in your criticisms on things than me. So
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah. So I won't go light, but I won't go over dramatic either. Me and we were talking about this on Discord the other day, and oh man, he says he can barely hear me. Hold on. How about now, Soil Tech? Am I coming through? I might have hit the mic situated wrong. Hold on. Did I have this right? Lies without a fear. Still low. Hold on. What in the world? Let me check my settings. Thanks for telling me, by the way, Soil Tech.
You sound fine in Discord, so it might be however OBS is picking up your input.
Yeah. That's the issue. It's like I can't ever quite tell myself until somebody in the chat says it, because it coming from us, it sounds okay. Let's see. For now, I'll just have to get really close to the mic. Hopefully that helps for now, Soil Tech, because I can't. He says he's at Trader Joe's right now.
Ooh, pick up those mochi ice creams. Those are good.
Oh, okay.
Actually, been to a Trader Joe's.
Clear. Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I could tweak it on my end a little bit. I'm messing with my gain and everything like that, Soil Tech. So let me know if the gain is picking up for you, if you can really hear me. I'm trying not to go too crazy because there might be some people outside playing around or something. But and
just gotta deep throat that mic, Umbra. Golly!
Why did you have to say that?
Oh my!
Now you're gonna sometimes make me back away.
Look, sometimes you read something in the chat and you just can't look away from that one.
Anyhow, yes, pause. What's up, Santi Lou? Shout out to Santi. But yeah, let me shout out to MJ. Shout out to Gray, our mod, of course. Soil Tech, thanks again. Shout out to you. Next Gen Nero, our podcasting brother. What's up? Shout out to you as well. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk about South of Midnight. Well, I talked about it a little bit, and I guess I'll cover it just slightly at the end. You know what, though, Gray? Actually, no, I won't talk about it tonight because Danny and Crusader haven't had a chance to get into it yet, so it'll be kind of a waste. I'll have to dance around what I want to say. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll wait until they actually get some game time into it and such before I do that. He said sounds much better. Okay, maybe the gain was low, I guess. But yeah, let's move forward. What were you going to say, Danny? What's the next topic?
Let me see. Hey, we got the title for the next Spider-Man movie. Would you look at that? It's called Brand New Day. Not a whole lot to say about it.
Wait, that wasn't a April Fool's joke?
No, it's been reiterated. Not. Yeah, it's been reiterated afterwards. So it's basically all of the first three titles all had the word home in it. So I guess the home trilogy is over. Home is phase, I guess, and now we're on to the day phase.
So
Fighter of the Night phase. Ah.
So if it's Brand New Day, wouldn't that
Yeah.
be like based off the comic title of the same name?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know what that comic is.
So Brand New Day, if for those who are not familiar with it in the comics, was when they had this new shift of creatives behind Spider-Man with Dan Slott, one of my favorite comic writers, and a bunch of other guys that came together to craft this story after Peter made the deal with Mephisto and had to correct it with Doctor Strange and everything like that.
Well, that would make sense. That's basically what they did in the last movie. So
Yeah.
It's without Mephisto.
Yeah, this actually would fit within that because based off what happened recently, actually.
Oh, here we go. Here's a quick plot synopsis, or the back of the book. It doesn't spoil things, hopefully. Following the events of One More Day, which is the Mephisto one you were talking about, Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane Watson has been erased, resulting in adjustments to his own history. Spider-Man's secret identity has also been forgotten by everyone. This is literally the movie. This is what's happening. Including people who knew his identity before his public unmasking. Harry Osborn is alive again. Maybe Harry Osborn is alive now for the first time in this universe. He has been living in Europe for several years. Aunt May is alive and well and volunteers in a homeless shelter. Peter has his original mechanical web shooters, although some people, in quotes, vaguely recall that Spider-Man unmasked himself during the events of Civil War. They do not remember whose face was under the mask, and even if this is brought to their attention, they soon cease to worry about it.
You sure that wasn't an April Fool's joke?
I'm like pretty sure. I was like 80% sure, but now I'm becoming less sure.
Yeah, because didn't he just say the marriage was erased? That's based off.
No, that's the plot synopsis of the comic.
Yeah, sorry, that's
Okay.
the comic. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, isn't that from the comic?
Yeah.
But the comic can like it probably because they've always very loosely adapted whatever comic. Like Civil War was like very loosely Civil War, right? Key plot points were there, stuff happened, but it was very different. And so like Brand New Day, they probably will be very loosely adapting that storyline.
Instead of being a global issue, it occurred entirely on one airport tarmac.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I'm not. Well, I don't know if it is the new title. Okay, cool. I have to believe that must be April Fool's because I could have sworn I saw it on April 1st.
You did
come out.
You did see it on April 1st.
I got bad news. Val Kilmer also really dead. So
Yeah, that was posted on April 1st, by the way, too. I was like, please let that be a terrible, terrible joke. But it wasn't. It was reality. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer. Great actor, legend, actually, in my eyes.
Yeah.
From so many different great roles. But, yeah, he died. I mean, I know he was battling a lot of different things from what I understand.
I think he had cancer at one point. He might have.
So.
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think it got so bad, like he had to. Was it esophageal like cancer or something like that? Because he had to do something. I know it affected his vocals.
Yeah, he like lost his voice for a long time. I don't know if he ever got it back. I wasn't really like keeping up or anything.
Should I say esophageal? I guess would be the correct term. Yes, rest in peace, man. Yeah.
His esophagus.
The esophagus. Yes.
I was gonna say esophagusy, and then I was like, a man died.
Yeah,
And then I tried to walk him back, and it was too late, and now here we are.
Yeah.
no.
Yes. Rest in peace, Iceman.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Okay,
no.
so it was throat cancer. Okay. Yeah, I do remember something.
Oh, that
like
sucks.
Yeah. One of his late great roles, of course, was appearing in the sequel as Iceman. In the Top Gun sequel, which I just thought like, why would they do it so late, all those years later, and it was actually great. So if you all haven't seen it, check it out. Very well worth watching. What's up, nerds and other legends? Yeah. So, what's up, Stilo? Yeah. Moving on. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer. And we'll move past the Danny's comment.
Sorry, everything's fine. I didn't say anything. No one can prove it. Nobody clipped that.
Yes.
The last thing I have on here is just a couple minutes ago we finally DC or Warner Brothers more specifically had their big CinemaCon panel, and one of the bigger things that came out of it is they showed a sneak peek of the Superman movie, which they were like, don't film it, and then like people did film it, and so there was a shitty version going around. James Gunn just like posted the whole thing on social media. So that's out now, and it's just an immediate follow up to that bit from the trailer where he's in the snow bleeding and Crypto runs up. It's Crypto is just like kind of screwing around and like jumps on him and is being like honestly a real asshole.
I thought
Before
you were gonna say
dragging
a
him
real
off.
ass dog, but he's
Just
like
a real asshole. I mean, I guess both really. But he drags him off to the Fortress of Solitude, where he is then tended to by some Superman robots, like from the comics and stuff. It's not really a whole lot to pull out of that scene, but
Literally
it was
not even
neat.
worth. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
As I was getting the show together, like really quick before we started, because I got up late. I saw it on YouTube. Looked at like, you know, you can look at you can scroll over and have the video play as you hold your arrow over there, whatever on the computer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, isn't this just the same little snippet when you see him in the snow getting dragged by what's his name? By what's the name of that? Crypto. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the same thing. Like, why did you even clip this for this moment? You've been better off not
There's
showing this
more
thing.
afterwards, but it's not like it's not a lot. There's not a ton going on there.
Yeah, not even worth it. But yeah, I'm still hopeful for the movie.
Yeah.
What
That's all I
else do
got.
we have?
You want to talk about Nintendo?
Yes. We just talking about Nintendo. So
All right, MJ, get ready.
yes, prepare your buttocks. Let me see. Matter of fact, I may as well pull up something. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Where is it? Maria. What the hell thing? This won't pull up what I'm trying to get it to pull up. But yes, I'll get it in a second. Okay, got it. It took forever, but yeah. And there we go. Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Everything announced. So Nintendo is very litigious and very strict when it comes to sharing anything of theirs on the stream. So I'm going to try to be as careful as I can. I don't even know if I should play any video even with the sound off. I don't know if I should do it.
I wouldn't bother. Yeah, I wouldn't.
I
risk
would
it,
not.
Honestly.
Yeah. So if I can find some still images, maybe I'll do that. Other than that, I won't be pressing play because they've gotten me in the past. Actually, yeah, they got me every time I use them. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct has finally arrived, and Nintendo revealed a ton of new details about the Switch 2 hardware and the games that will be launching alongside it in the future. We've gathered all the big reveals from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct right here. So let's go through this. We had the Nintendo Switch 2 release date, price, hardware features, and accessories, and I guess, we might as well start off let's go down the list. We'll just use them as the barometer for our discussions. How about that? So Nintendo 2 Switch pre-orders begin April 9th. It'll open in retailers in North America here with us at April 9th, 2025. If you wish to purchase from my Nintendo store, you can register your interest for either the Nintendo Switch 2 or the Mario Kart World Bundle. If selected, those who registered will send an invite to their Nintendo account email when it's time to purchase. It says invitations will go out May 8th, 2025, and will be prioritized on a first-come, first-served basis to registrants who have purchased a Nintendo Switch Online membership with a minimum of 12 months of paid membership and a minimum of 50 total gameplay hours as of April 2nd, 2025. Guys,
Better get those numbers up, ladies and gents.
I get your numbers up because my black ass has never owned a Switch. I had people who had it, and I played it off theirs. I've never owned it. I have no hours. So
Yeah.
I'm essentially assed out, as they would say. So I'm going to have to rely on the kindness of MJ Dark maybe to buy it, and I can give him the money and send it to me. It says Nintendo Switch 2 has 4K support HDR Joy-Con with mouse controls, 250 gigabytes of storage, red cartridges. I don't know why that's needed to be highlighted, and so much more. So yeah, they changed up the cartridge to red. It's like, ooh, okay. All right, so let me go through some of the specs a bit. It starts with the console itself. It has a 7.9-inch LCD screen. You already know that OLED is coming at some point. You already know.
Yeah,
That's
for
why
sure.
we're waiting. What we're waiting for.
Yep, and without the bezel, because one of the complaints I heard as I watched it with the fellas was, look at that gigantic bezel that's still there, and it is there. But I will say 7.9 inches of retail to play the game is pretty generous. I mean, it's bigger than my ROG Ally screen, for instance, right? So it's pretty decent. More than like, I mean, I guess I will game with it on the go as well, but I'm definitely plugging this right into the TV and playing it. So I don't know if that will matter to me that much. But yeah, 1080p display. So I'm sure it's still going to look good. But when that OLED drop, it's going to look great. He says, however, for those looking for better resolution, they will be happy to know that the new dock will be able to output video up to 4K resolution and play games up to 120 frames per second. All right.
All right, we're putting a big asterisk right there, by the way.
Yeah.
You have to choose between 4K 60 output or 1080p 120. It cannot output 4K 120.
Yes.
This matters because it cannot. If you dynamically change it in game, you have to go into the system settings and change it if the frame rate changes above 60. It is going to be frustrating.
So what will be you guys? I guess standard operation. What will you have it at for yours?
It depends on the game. The most frustrating part.
I mean, I won't have to worry about it because I'm not going to have one.
Oh.
So.
I'm not getting one at launch for sure.
Okay.
But if I was, I would probably have it in the 4K more often because my displays are 4K.
Yeah.
But I would only switch it if I'm switching to a performance mode that actually goes up to 120 hertz. Because like I said, I have an LG CX OLED TV.
Yes.
That is 4K 120 hertz, and I have a Asus. I forget what the model is, but I have an Asus 4K 32-inch 4K 120 hertz monitor, and I'm probably always going to pick the 120 hertz over the 60 hertz. But if the game doesn't offer it, then I'm going to put the 4K mode on.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
you'll be fine either way. 60 frames is going to be good. Like a lot of people argue for the 120. I'm like, you don't really need that though. But
I prefer higher frame rate.
I hear you.
I almost always prefer.
Yeah.
You have to be going sub 1080p for me to be like, nah, switch it.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, and you got two of the most beautiful displays to play it on, so I can imagine it's going to look great even on your new monitor too. Yeah, so they got the Joy-Con, which is like it has the magnetic snap feature, of course, and it's like a new mouse control. Let me ask you and everybody in the chat: are any of you going to be using that thing as a mouse at all?
No.
I'm going to go with 95% chance no. I'll give it the 5% chance for if I, for some reason, decide that I'm going to end up buying, like, Civilizations on it.
Okay. All right.
Like, there is not a, like... It's not a 0% chance of me not using it. It's just extremely low. I have a friend who... He used to stream just him playing Mario Paint on Twitch. And, like, I could see if, like, a Mario Paint-like thing came out, that could be cool for that. Because it's instantly better than using a controller to try and draw. There are weird edge case things that Nintendo could do. Also, it could be kind of unique and useful if they decide to bring some form of Nintendo DS compatibility, because there was a lot of DS games where you use the stylus on the bottom screen and you can use the mouse to emulate the stylus functionality.
Okay, yeah.
So
that makes some
there's
sense.
Definitely some edge case uses.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't outright call it stupid. Kind of cool. I just don't think
limited.
I will use it.
Yeah, it's going to be very limited for those who may use it.
Right.
I think it's a fair thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Danny? You see yourself using it?
Hell no. So, and for a multitude of reasons, is obviously I'm not going to get one because it looks like shit and I don't want it. This whole presentation, just as like a spoiler, this whole presentation took me from like mildly interested, like maybe I'll get one in like a year or something, to like negatively interested. If I see someone in public with it, I will slap it out of their hands.
That's what Richard Hogue said. You guys know from Hogue Law?
What did he say?
Did he literally?
Yeah, no. So I'll find the exact tweet, but it was like he was really not happy with it.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in the same boat. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into all of the nitty gritty of like why it sucks and how much I hate it. But in terms of, so like, I'm not going to get one. If in some way, like 5 years from now, I get one as a hand-me-down, or like someone blights me with one, like gifts it to me like a pair of socks from your grandma on Christmas or something, and I end up with one.
Did you say?
Did you say blights me with one?
Yeah, if someone like sneaks into my house in the middle of the night and like leaves one like a shit on my couch,
Oh my God.
and I end up with one.
You can wake up walking to the front like, what is this?
What is this? Oh, not again.
So Hogue said, to be clear, the marketing goal of a major new product or service rollout is not to have me want to see the company burn to the ground.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyway, so basically, if for some reason I end up with one, and I did end up playing a game that required mouse controls, because I'm not using it unless it's required, full stop. If I end up playing a game that does require it, I will, depending on how much it requires it, if it requires it constantly, I just won't play the game. If it is like occasionally, then I will begrudgingly use it and like be mad every time I have to.
Yeah,
that's basically where I'm at.
So they got the new Joy-Cons, and it also features a new C button that will work with new online feature called Game Chat. Yeah,
Discord at home.
Bro,
It's Discord at home.
I've never heard of this before.
We got Discord at home for Nintendo. Yeah, literally. I mean, listen, I don't want to begrudge them for at least trying to adopt, or at least adapt to the, more online features and things like that, right? That's good. That's a good thing.
Screw that. I'm going to begrudge them straight away because they're charging for it. No one else charges for it. Not a single other platform charges for it anymore. We finally got Microsoft to stop charging for it on Xbox, the previous last holdout. Nah. Nintendo's implementing Game Chat. We're generations late.
Right.
And charging for it 2 generations late.
Yeah.
Nah.
The thing that got me when I was watching it was like, and I mean, I was talking to Kay about it, and he was like, well, you got to give Nintendo credit for showing it basically how it is. And I was like, yeah, but he's like, if it was Microsoft or Sony, they're going to show you the most curated, blah, blah, blah. And he's absolutely correct. They're going to show you the more curated version of it. It's not going to be all choppy. Nintendo said to hell with that. You're going to see all these 2 frames per second. And everything. Like, I guess I give them a salute to that. That's
yeah.
Or they could have just put Discord natively on the system, and it would have just worked, right?
Yeah, they could have just allowed for that.
Just like how I can stream games on Discord on my Xbox to my friends right now.
Yeah, right. I am glad they're finally doing this.
Yeah,
I think it's weird that it's behind a paywall, but I don't super care because I'm not going to use it anyway. But I think it is really embarrassing that in their own presentation of it, they couldn't make the frame rate of the other cameras higher than 10 frames a second. I think maybe you should have just faked that. I think in your first showing of it, maybe lie. If this is the case where it's this bad, just lie. Just lie to me. Honestly, at least make it look worth having.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, because here's the worst part, right? They knew that they couldn't put the price of the console is whatever. The price of the console is actually not horrible. Well, we'll get to that later. But they knew that they couldn't have the prices for these things in the Direct because people would flip their shit like they did afterwards. But they decided to keep this in. Which, immediately I had people, as we were watching it all kind of together in Discord, we weren't in, chat together, but we were all in a, in a channel, live tweeting, essentially, to me and my personal friends. And immediately people were making memes during the show to be like, just how poor quality it was. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought like it looked so. How do I put this? It felt. I think they need whoever they have doing this and handling for them. They need to maybe reach out to somebody and maybe poach some talent from Microsoft or Sony. It just seems like they're so out of date when it comes to this portion of things.
Yeah.
And they kind of are out of date, right? Even look at the technology that they're using. Somebody made a tweet and they were like, Nintendo, they at least get up to modern expectations of games, like for the technology. I'm like, what? Like, no, they haven't.
It is cool that they're finally focusing on social features. Like, I will give them that.
That's a
right.
plus.
Yeah. But like, it is really late, and they're doing it in such a back-assward way. And I straight up wouldn't have shown off the game sharing feature at this point. I don't think that there was so much that they didn't show off in this event. Like, they didn't talk about the NVIDIA features at all. Right? I just straight up wouldn't have shown the game stream at all and saved that for later.
Speaking of the NVIDIA situation, I know there was like much discussion about that earlier. I heard some. And basically, I know somebody had tried to dismiss that there were DLSS options in it, but NVIDIA came out, I believe, and corrected that, said that there are. It's just very, very low compared to recent standards.
So NVIDIA came out and basically said that they'll have the full feature set of DLSS and everything. Mm-hmm. Everything that we've seen so far appears to not have used DLSS at all. All of the footage that we've seen seems to not have used any NVIDIA features at all, which has led a lot of people to believe that the APIs from NVIDIA were not ready. Until very close to launch, and that a lot of the games that are going to use DLSS and stuff, it may be coming later.
That was from Digital
they may
Foundry,
physically
right?
not have them right now.
Yeah, I think Digital Foundry was the one that found out that it didn't have it initially.
Yeah, because from all the gameplay footage, there's it looks like there's no form of anti-aliasing at all, which if DLSS is on, even on low, you will see anti-aliasing effects.
Yeah.
And no developers, first party from Nintendo or third party like CD Projekt Red, have talked about any NVIDIA features at all. And CD Projekt Red is we implement the newest form of DLSS into Cyberpunk every time there's a new form of it. So it's really weird that no one's talked about it yet, besides NVIDIA confirming that the features exist in an official NVIDIA blog post.
Speaking of which, just to kind of throw it out there, because I just saw it a second ago, CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077 is coming to the Switch at $70. So
it's $70, but it's the Ultimate Edition. From what I understand, it includes Phantom Liberty, which is $82 on Steam to get both of them together.
Which is ridiculous that it's that much on Steam, because you can get it on GOG with both for $38. I don't understand what's going on.
GOG is CD Projekt Red's store.
That is true. That is their store.
They take 100% of the take there.
I forgot that they're literally their store.
A lot of people don't.
I completely forgot. Okay, now it makes sense. I'm like, wait a minute, why is it so cheap? My brain must have froze because I knew that was theirs. But so it's cheap as hell on GOG, which I prefer it on Steam. So I'm not going to get it on GOG. But I'm not paying that price, so I'm going to wait until it's lower. That said, I'm not necessarily mad at the 70. What I would be bothered by is that it can only get up to 40 frames per second, and all of us know, including everyone in the chat, it's not going to look that great on this thing compared to if you get it on a more modern, console. So that's my thing. It's kind of like, okay, I can get you pairing those together. I can get even a 40 frames per second option. So it's not going to look terrible performance-wise, I don't think, at 40 frames. 40 frames can work pretty nicely. I've seen it done with Plague Tale Requiem, for instance. It actually came out pretty nice at 40 frames per second. If you have a TV that allows it like we do, such as the OLED we have, that's fine. I just think the pricing is the issue. That seems to be the biggest takeaway for me.
So, FYI, the Ultimate Edition of Cyberpunk 2077 on GOG MSRP, so no sale, is $80.
Yeah.
Looking at it right now.
I go to Green Man Gaming or whatever other
Well,
sites.
that's a reseller of keys though.
Yeah, that's my point. I'm just saying I can go
yeah.
somewhere else and get it on PC, no problem.
Correct.
Super cheap. That to me is, I think that's what's really pulled me, just to say, set as an aside, from getting games on console. It's like, why would I do that when I can get such cheap prices online and play it on Steam or whatever it may be?
Well, you can get cheap prices for console too. You just have to either wait for a sale or go to or buy it physical.
You can, but first I hate physical. That's one. Two, you can get it cheap, but it won't necessarily be as cheap as the ones for PC that I've found typically. Typically, PC is always cheaper.
You can typically get some good deals on Xbox digital games on CD Keys and some of the other ones that sell stuff. That's not as reputable, and I don't personally recommend it, but you can get some pretty cheap prices there. Yeah. You can't for PlayStation, because PlayStation does not authorize the resale or generation of PlayStation Store keys. Only PlayStation can sell digital games for PlayStation,
which they're getting sued about. So
they are getting sued about.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like a multi-country class action lawsuit against them.
Oh wow. So that said, I don't want to deviate, because I want us to get into line here. The new controller, of course, the Pro controller. Shout out to Xbox, because they influence everybody with their controller. Any thoughts on the new controller? It's
the same as the old Pro controller for Nintendo.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it just has the C button.
Okay. They added the C button, and then they were like, and it's got these new buttons on the back. But then I was like, well, my sister has one of those, and like, I'm pretty confident it's got buttons on the back. Like,
I'm holding it right now.
I could have sworn there were buttons back there.
It doesn't.
Oh, the one my sister does definitely has some.
Yeah.
Because she was hitting them on accident playing Fortnite and making a real fool of herself.
So I don't, because I am holding a Nintendo Switch. At least their original generation Pro. Well, I don't know if it's the original generation Pro controller, but I'm holding one of the Nintendo Switch just controllers, and it does not have back buttons.
Swelltech says the original one doesn't have it, so maybe there's like an update one that did.
Okay.
I don't know. Could also be a third party one that does.
I was going to say, is it a third party, like an 8-bit duo, 8-bit do? Because I got the 8-bit do, whatever they call it.
I don't think so. I just got it at GameStop, but it had like all the Nintendo branding and stuff on it. It was a
there are some
one.
Officially licensed third party Nintendo controllers.
Okay.
I guess it's possible then.
Yeah. So I want to read a bit of the chat, because what else, Tres? How do I say this properly? Because it's in Spanish, obviously. Uno, dos, tres. Tres. Shout out to Tres. Santi had said they have for years been behind everyone, but people keep buying their products. It's never been about the tech and features. It's always been about the IP, and that's the strong selling point for Nintendo that not everybody else can pull. That's their thing.
Yeah, I think we're about to see.
Soiltech said DLSS 0.0001.
Yeah. So in theory,
I think we're about to see them have messed that up, though. To be honest,
in theory, it'll support DLSS 4, but it won't support all DLSS 4 features, because it's the system on a chip inside the Switch 2 is based on the Ampere line of NVIDIA products, which is the 30 series.
The 30, yeah, because right now, yep. And I'm only learning about a lot of these things. It's funny to hear that. Yes, what's up, Trez? That's funny. 0.0001 Soiltech. You ain't right for that. But yeah, like that's the biggest thing for Nintendo that they have going for them, man, is that they have diehards that that rock with them all the way, and I guess for good reason, because they deliver when it comes to the gaming, right? And that's their selling point. It's not a matter of
they deliver what their audience wants.
I guess.
Yeah.
But are they still going to be there? Are they still going to be as loyal when Nintendo raises their game price 150%?
That's the thing I want to get to. So they had this, by the way, they had this new game chat camera here, the Switch camera, for $50. Is it just me? Let me ask.
It's back.
The Kinect is back, baby.
I was just about to ask. Did this feel very Xbox One-ish to you when they showed all this?
The whole thing felt like the fucking Xbox One launch. They were like, hey, we got DRM on our games, or we got chat that looks like shit. Here's a camera you don't want. Yeah. I mean, at least they packaged it separate. But
it felt like the Xbox event, but like they learned some lessons, but forgot some other ones.
Yeah, like they had
Like-
games, but the games look like shit. For example,
Well,
get
I
him
just saw the
MJ.
camera thing, and I was like, I got flashbacks because we're seeing that, we're seeing the pricing. You know, we're seeing their kind of seems like upstart for online, and it just felt like, I mean, I couldn't even use that for Xbox because Xbox was well advanced at that point. But it was just like seeing it, I was like, this looks real reminiscent of like the one launch with the camera being it you can get or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference is obviously this is not packaged in and forced upon anybody. There is the difference, right? But it just seemed so like it felt reminiscent. Even the pricing of things felt like I remember there being a bit of a sticker shock for people too, for Xbox, you know. But
Yeah.
because it was $100 more, right? I
well,
believe.
it's the inverse sticker shock, right? Like this is the
Yeah.
they're having the and we'll talk about this more when we get to the pricing, but like it's the opposite of the PS3 problem.
Mhm.
Where the PS3 was an unreasonably priced console with
Right.
some like reasonably priced games on it.
And some terrible statements, PR statements, such as
Yeah,
doing the same
right.
job
And
such.
this one is a semi-reasonably priced console with the
That's what I said.
unreasonably priced software.
That's what I said. I said that the pricing of the console, I don't think is a problem. I don't have a
It's a
problem
little
with that.
higher than I expected, but like gestures at the world right now.
Let me ask you. Speaking of that, since that came out, let me ask you guys because there's been a bit of contention about this, and I mean we don't have the facts. We can only go by our opinions and good logic, I guess. Do you think that the tariffs had anything to do with Nintendo's pricing? Not as far
No.
as did it force that.
The hardware, yes. The software, absolutely not.
Right.
Well, no, because the prices that they announced here, the tariffs haven't even gone into effect yet.
But that's what I
So,
said. Like, this is
well,
the
These
caveat
are
around
coming
it.
out of Vietnam. They moved the
So-
production. They
Well,
moved
see,
the
that's the
production to
thing,
Vietnam
though,
to
right?
avoid it. And now that
Sure.
they're adding new tariffs, but that just got announced like yesterday.
Right. But
Sure,
let me
I
add
believe
this bit to
I
it,
believe
though.
the $50, the $450, the
Yeah.
$50 was in anticipation of
That's what I was leading to. So I was saying
of
that it might not
global
have been
price
exactly
increases.
because of the tariffs that made them
Yeah.
go to that, that forced the price up, on us. But it was them in anticipation saying, "Well, we're going to have to price it a bit more."
Yeah.
I think it's going up from here. I think by the time it comes out, it's
I
higher
believe
for
you are
us.
correct.
Yeah.
I also like this is not a zero sum thing. I believe that they priced it slightly higher in anticipation of a chaotic economic environment, but I believe that they did not price it high enough in anticipation for a slightly chaotic environment.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm laughing, but I should not be.
Because
It don't
just
matter,
about
I'm not buying
everyone
one
expected
anyway.
it to be 400 and 450, and it was 450 and 500.
Yeah,
Right.
I actually called 500 for the console. I just thought it was going to be further in tech, and as far as what they offer.
I don't think that they could price it the same as the full on Xbox and the full on PS5 with the disc. I don't think they could do it.
You don't think so? I think they could. I think Nintendo would
No.
absolutely get away with that. I don't know, man. I mean, I think they might complain, but I think they'll still get it. I think they absolutely
I think we're gonna
could have got away with it.
see. I think we're gonna see a really starkly different story when this launches as compared to when the Switch 1 launched.
I think we're
this
going to
thing
be
is not
closer to
gonna
the
sell the
3DS
way.
launch.
Yeah,
Now,
it might
it's
still
not-
sell
I
out
don't
at
think it's-
first, but
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be as bad as the 3DS, because like the 3DS, they had to mark that shit down almost immediately.
yeah.
You ever seen the pictures?
Yeah. So
I don't
Chop
remember
in the
pictures,
price.
but I
So
remember-
just to
yeah.
point out though, because tariffs did go out to Vietnam, as thank you Sotek and Santee, just to say this is insane because if you know just a bit of the history between China, South Korea, and Japan. Like I remember finding out about South Korea and Japan. I was like, whoa, they did that. It is
You pick
Run
any
that
two
blood
of those
over there.
countries, and there's been problems between each of the two of them.
That's saying it lightly. I remember just that's what it was, the red flag, the flag with the red rising sun came from all of them. I'm like, whoa, that comes from that. Okay, I don't want to get into that now because it's actually very depressing. But at Santi's point, she says like China, South Korea, and Japan signed a treaty to combat the U.S. tariffs, which is crazy to even type out. Absolutely insane. We were talking about that actually earlier, Santi, and on Discord. GCP, shout out to GCP's Discord. That is insane. Just for anybody who might not know, just those countries are not, in accord, and for them to say, well, this is going crazy what the U.S. is doing. We're going to partner together and sign a treaty. The U.S. is actually forcing world peace against us.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
One thing that people have to recognize with gaming, no matter what your politics is, no matter what your politics is, these things are not going to be able to be made cheaper in the United States ever. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You are not going to be able to build the factories over in the United States. It'll take 5 years if you want to build them here.
At minimum.
At least minimum. And
we also
that implies that you build the
enough.
entire supply chain here. So the silicon that's going into the system on a chips for the thing before they're even assembled have to be also made here. That'll take even longer. So first you have to get the whole freaking supply chain that develops these things here.
Right, which
and
we don't
then
have enough
you also have to
people
combat
to
with
fill
the
those
fact
roles.
You have to combat with the fact that either the factory is going to be completely automated so that they don't have to pay workers, and then maybe it's a little cheaper here.
Maybe.
But they're never going to be able to stock it with actual employees in the United States that are cheaper because we have a minimum wage laws in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And the factories, if they're going to run as like 24/7 as they do in other countries, you're going to have to hire on significantly larger workforce than those countries do. And it's not feasible for most electronics to have the entire supply chain here. It's simply not. Yeah. And that's because, and it's okay because we're a wealthy country. We spend more on things. And that's why it's okay for our import deficit to be the way it is, because we buy things from other people because we can.
Well, it's going to be much more expensive now to buy from them.
And so guaranteed the launch window of this, it could very easily go up astronomically in price.
Yeah, there actually was a report. Let me read this if I can.
Yeah,
I will post it, but I'm not going to change it off the screen. There was a report by Stephen Totillo. Let me see. I just shared it not long.
Yeah,
ago.
he was interviewing the ESA.
Yeah, he interviewed with the ESA, which is the U.S. group repping all big gaming companies. It says it tells me that to expect Trump's tariffs to have a detrimental impact. A rep says consoles and other devices likely to be hit by many tariffs per device due to sourcing from multiple countries. So this is not going to be cheap. It's not going to be kind. Gaming has always been a luxury. Well, it's going to be much more luxurious. I can tell you that right now.
Physical media as well. So like I can't really speak. I don't know. I think the cartridges for Nintendo are made in Vietnam or Japan. Not really sure which. But physical media for like Xbox and PlayStation is all mostly done in Mexico. At least for the United States, where we get our stuff imported, the factories are mostly in Mexico. So like this is not going to be good for physical media enjoyers either. Just know.
Yeah.
Like,
although I don't know, Mexico's getting lesser tariffs than the rest.
They
of the world,
are getting lesser. They are getting lesser tariffs. But like, it's still going to increase the supply chain on a product that is already struggling to hit the market with people.
Right. Well, but here's my thing: is you're right, but for a fact that these people are going to raise the price on the digital games to match that because they can. So they will.
Well, what's really interesting is that in Nintendo increasing these prices, they are price differentiating physical from digital. You guys saw that, right?
They are, but will EA? Will 2K? No.
I don't know.
That's the scary part. That's
won't.
the more scary part, and I guess we'll just go into that now. Is the pricing situation. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm seeing conflicting thoughts here, or at least reports.
Sure.
That the digital will be $80, for instance, for Mario Kart World, which, by the way, looks fantastic. Looks damn good.
So there's no universal pricing.
No universal pricing just yet.
There's no universal pricing. The digital for Mario Kart is $80. That is correct.
Last part. So on this part here, for instance, I have an Australian brother, buddy, who told me that their pricing wasn't affected negatively, right, like ours is. But so his is still standard what it was before these tariffs, and so we figured that out. We added the 20% to it, and it came out to what it is now. So this is definitely anticipatory how they did this. But
Well, Europe's are also increased, which shouldn't be impacted. They're looking at global exchange rates and things like that.
So, but 20. Excuse me. Am I correct here? Because I had conflicting heard reports that it's 80 for digital, 90 for physical with Mario Kart World. Is that correct?
I do not know if the $90 USD has yet been confirmed for the physical of Mario Kart World.
Okay.
I do know that it was £80 and £90, or €80 and €90. I can't remember which one of those is which.
It
might have been the euro.
Been confirmed technically, because the only official source that said anything is Jeff Keighley. But when he said it, he did specify $80 digital. He didn't say a physical price, and I feel like you don't make that specification unless the prices are different.
Actually, wait, Walmart. Let me look at the Walmart. Walmart has the prices up for pre-order.
Oh yeah, check Walmart Canada. They would have leaked it a month ago.
Give me 1 second. I have this in a chat. I can tell you what what Walmart is selling the physical for of
Magnum actually says Australian prices are affected. He says Mario Kart World is $114 for them.
My buddy was saying.
Yeah, so
pricing, he said, I don't know.
The US physicals are currently still matching the digital price.
So
in Europe, it's $10 or it's 10 currency units more. I can't remember if it is the UK or the European Union.
You're talking about for physical, right? 10 more to make it 90
pounds
or whatever.
In Europe, they're separating the prices.
Okay.
And that may be because due to the increased VATs, though they may end up doing it in the US too now due to the tariffs. But currently it is $80. Walmart is going to be selling the US version of Mario Kart World for $80, the physical.
Okay.
Currently, that is what the pre-order is up for. Whether that pre-order price remains is a different story.
So I'll go to you first on this, Danny. Your thinking on the pricing, did it surprise you? Did it were you like, oh, that's not good?
These idiots just shot themselves completely in the foot. Yeah. Nintendo shit the bed and rolled around in it. Because here's the thing. Nintendo has the absolute least justification of raising the price of their games. They sell the most games with the highest attach rate. So, and also have the lowest budget on their games. So they are making the highest margins on their game of anybody in the world ever. There's no justification for raising your price this much, especially when you consider that for the most part, they haven't even raised their prices above 60 yet. They've been sitting at 60 for the majority of the Switch games. They've done
one game at 70?
Yeah, it was like Tears of the Kingdom was at 70.
Tears of the Kingdom,
and maybe one other that I don't know about. I'm not that familiar with Nintendo. It's possible. But so they're jumping from 60 to at least 80, maybe 90 in some cases. That's ridiculous. That's you're telling me you want to jump up $20? When I'm looking at your games, I'm looking at this Donkey Kong Bonanza bullshit, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to pay 60 for that. Like full stop. Like 60 for that is like pushing it. 70 is like no, and 80 is like get out of my fucking face.
Bonanza's MSRP is 70.
That's still too much.
So I can go through the MSRPs that they have.
Well, we'll go
Mario Kart is 80.
Yeah, we'll go through them as we go through it.
Okay.
I just want
Why would Mario Kart be more
pricing? I feel like Mario Kart is their more premium title. That's what it feels like, and it feels like. And I have no justification to say this, but I feel like the Mario Kart World is their more premium title. So even the next Mario World or whatever game will also be that price. And Donkey Kong Bonanza is maybe like a less premium title. That's the only justification I can kind of reason out.
If Mario you're spending $80 on any Nintendo game, you're a mark. Sorry.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch was I believe, Nintendo's best-selling game of all time.
Right,
not
so
including Wii Sports, which was packed in.
If they're selling that many of it, then they don't need to raise the price.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
they're doing it because they can, not because they need to.
That's my thinking too. And he says
they're not doing it because
Mario Kart will sell gangbusters no matter the price. But I guess the justification will be they can get away with it. But if they can sell like gangbusters no matter the price, then why not put it cheaper, right?
Like every single person that I've talked to about this, in either just like my personal friend groups or at work, has been like, okay, well, I'll just wait for the price to come down. And I'm like, well, the price probably won't come down for these games because Nintendo doesn't lower their prices.
Problem, yeah.
And then they go, okay, well, then I just won't play it. Like, I don't need new Mario Kart. I have old Mario Kart, and it's always the same game. I don't
Well,
need to
this
spend
one
$80
is
fucking
Mario
dollars
Kart
so that I
Forza
can drive
Horizon.
between my maps. Like
Yeah.
no, that's not enough of a difference. I'm not paying $80 for a marginal for like, oh, and now I can play as the cow. Wow, great. That's what I always was asking for.
Yeah.
$80? Go fuck yourself. No, get out of here.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I mean, the difference for me is that, again, I didn't have the Switch, so this is all new to me. The gaming sticker price is what's bothering me. I'm going to have to try to find some workaround for that because I cannot justify paying 80. I don't want to pay 70.
This is going to sorry, I just need to get this off my chest. So this is like, you're bringing in all this third-party support, right? Which is great. Nintendo needed that. But then you're also raising your own prices. So you're increasing competition on your own platform and making it so that it's less likely that people will want to buy your shit in comparison to their shit. Because who knows what the pricing is for like Cyberpunk is going to be. Are they going to raise that to 80 or 92? Probably not.
It's 70. It's 70.
Sure. Right. So like they're probably not going so they're definitely not going up to 80 or 90. Right. So it's like, okay, so between the two, you've increased your competition and decreased people's like ability to buy your game, which means your attached numbers that you're so proud of for your first party titles are going to drop like a rock. Then you're also looking at a console that is like slightly overpriced, not bad, slightly overpriced. Between these two things, we're now looking at a situation where, because this probably is like at least pre some tariffs and pre-tax, we're looking at a situation where this is now untenable. Like, this is no longer a console that you're going to have 2 or 3 of in a house for your kids. Like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to do that. You're not buying 3 copies of Mario Kart at $80 so that your kids can play it together. That's not going to happen. You're just not going to do that. So you're pricing yourself out of like an entire demographic of people's ability to play it. Not to mention that the majority of your player base is probably either younger people or parents who are buying it for their kids. Because like, I know in our like circles that there's a lot of like Nintendo adults who like want, but like the majority of their games are clearly geared towards children, and children don't have $90 to drop on Mario Kart. Like, they don't, and they're not going to do it. It's not worth it. You're pricing yourself out of your own, like you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're going to sell less consoles because we're already in a bad economic situation globally. Then you're going to sell less games because you've priced yourself out of people being able to buy it on the platform. Like, and on top of that, you're also starting to get into like aggressive like third-party exclusivity deals by like locking up this FromSoft game. And it's like, no, you're like Nintendo. This is a Nintendo heel turn. This is a bigger heel turn than John Cena. Like, this is bullshit. Full stop. Like, every single thing in this Nintendo Direct, I was like, yeah, all right, that's fine, whatever. But like beforehand, I had already heard about the pricing, and I was like, okay, so justify this pricing to me with the Nintendo Direct, because I heard it before I watched it. There's not a single thing in this entire Direct that has me interested in ever owning a Switch 2. The only thing that even comes close is that GameCube thing, where they're like, oh hey, we finally added like the GameCube games to the Nintendo Online, and then even that, they're price gouging us and hiding it behind the Switch 2 arbitrarily. There's no reason that can't run on the Switch 1. They're doing it because they need to try and trick you into buy a Switch 2 that is not worth having. It is more powerful, sure, but like, it's not more powerful than the other consoles that are about the same fucking price now. Like, you're putting out a piece of shit tablet and you're asking me to pay almost the same amount as a PS5 or an Xbox. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that so that I can play Cyberpunk worse than I'm already playing it.
Yeah, they're gonna need way more because like, I didn't get a Switch 1 until Metroid Dread, and at that point, you know, that was 2020. There was plenty of stuff on the Switch, right? There is not enough first party content that like Nintendo will only ever have on the Nintendo system for me to want to jump on this day one. I was close, but no cigar. Yeah, man, it's just.
I think your rant was well earned, Danny. And I don't.
Thank
think
you.
I know some people are like, "Oh, he's unfair. He's just hating." No, I think you would.
I am hating, but that doesn't mean it's unfair.
It's justified. It's a justified crash out, I guess we could.
And I will say, one of Nintendo's biggest problems facing them right now is how many people pirate their shit. This is not going to slow that down.
Hold on now. I just want to add now.
Yo ho, motherfucker.
They're adding DRM practices now. They got the de novo thing.
Oh, they'll stop them for a day, maybe.
I said the same thing. Somebody was like, "Oh, they got de novo. Your days are limited, Umbra." I'm like, people are gonna figure that out.
People,
I will have
these people make a game out of cracking de novo. They get it done in like 6 hours.
No, let me hold on. Let me clarify. The fix does not advocate for any because Nintendo will get at you. I'm not. Even
We
trying to
don't.
play
We
the
don't
game.
advocate for it. But what I'm saying is, people are gonna do it.
Yeah, they're gonna.
It's right now. I am the parent who's like, look, I know that my kid is going out there and dating, and I wish they weren't, but I'm gonna give them a condom because I know they're gonna fuck. If they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it safe.
The most like frustrating thing about all of this is just how I'm not a huge Nintendo fan, but I came out of the Direct excited. Well, as excited as I can be for Nintendo.
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, holy crap. And then all the shit came out afterwards and all their blog posts, and I was just like, what? Because I wasn't caught off guard by the pricing of the console. I was like, okay, it's a little bit more than I thought it would be. And one thing about the Mario Kart World is I think more people are going to buy it with the bundle and get Mario Kart World for $50. Because that's, again, how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, whatever the fuck it's called, that's how that game
Deluxe.
sold so many copies. It was like almost all Switches were bought with it, right? Even though you could buy a Switch standalone, almost all they all bought it otherwise. And I think that the Mario Kart World Bundle actually kind of makes it a better deal than to ever buy that game for $80, right? Buy it for $50 with the console. But I couldn't believe that they are selling the upgraded versions of the Switch 2 game, like the Switch 1 games that are upgraded to the Switch 2. Some of those are MSRPing for $80. And I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
I can believe that they were going to charge $10 like Nintendo did, or not like Sony did.
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe they were charging $80 for the
the newer games
for some of these releases,
right?
like Tears of the Kingdom, $80 for the Switch 2 version.
That's the part of the problem I had. It's one thing for these to be 80 and whatever it's going to be. For the old games to get that, it's like that's you guys.
It's nonsense.
Yeah. As Danny would say, you honey dicking people with it.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah, because it's like okay, Sony would at least, and this is the thing. I'm not going to try to sound fanboyish about this, but look at the stark contrast of consumer friendliness Microsoft offers between all three of these companies. And you look at even Sony, I feel, is more consumer friendly than this. And you look at this and you're like, okay, we're going to give you these games, maybe with a slight frame rate increase, if that. And yay. They're not giving you anything brand new with these, though. They're not remastering.
They are with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. There's like an entire additional world being added to that.
Was that okay? So they did it with that. By the way,
that one's
Air Raiders new.
There's some. They are adding some stuff like Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting like an entire achievement system.
Okay, that's cool.
They are adding stuff,
think, right?
But didn't you say the achievement system is like in a separate web app?
It is in a separate app.
Yeah.
So
I don't care about that.
Yeah, that syncs with it all. I don't know all of what else is coming with the Switch 2 editions of them, so I haven't judged them very harshly on that. One thing I will give Nintendo slight credit for here is that if you have NSO, at least for the Zelda games, if you have NSO, you get the upgraded versions included while you have NSO. So you get the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the full Switch 2 version, if you have NSO and the original game.
How much is NSO a month?
I do not know how much it is a month. It is $50 a year.
Yeah, it's like real cheap.
It's $50 a year. I am on a family plan.
MSRP on the console peasants.
I believe it's like $80 a year for a family plan, but you can have like a billion people in the family plan, which makes it not expensive at all.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay.
Now, so I
guess the point is
that is something better than PlayStation does, right?
Yeah.
Like if PlayStation gave you the $10 upgrades with PS Plus, I would have been less irritated with them about it. I'm still irritated that we're paying for upgrades at all.
I bet NSO price goes up too, by the way.
Yeah, because Xbox could have charged a next gen upgrade for Gears 5 included intrinsically with the Hive Busters,
That's
but
the
they
thing.
didn't.
That's
They
what I keep
upgraded the
saying.
base game version of Gears 5 to everyone who owned it, and then you could also buy Hive Busters, right?
I think also, can you get Hive Busters just in Game Pass, like when it comes?
Yeah.
with
You can.
It? Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing
It's
is,
one of the few DLCs they've ever included in Game Pass. The other, they're experimenting more with that right now. Like they put the Ultimate Edition of Borderlands 3 in Game Pass. Like that's coming.
Yeah.
So like that's a little tangential, but that's kind of cool that they are doing more with like DLC-ified versions of games in Game Pass.
And this is okay. So here's the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. So it says both the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Wild are getting Nintendo Switch 2 edition versions at launch that will enhance Link's grand adventures with smooth frame rates, faster load times, and better graphics. There will also be a new Zelda Notes app on the Nintendo Switch Online app that is exclusive to these new editions that will help players find shrines, Koroks, and other locations alongside commentary from Princess Zelda that wasn't part of the original games. That
Yeah,
does
and
nothing
part of
for
that
me. I'm gonna
Notes
just
is
be
the
honest.
achievements. Part of the Notes app is the
Yeah.
achievement system.
Yeah, that's all on the phone, on the app that you can get on your phone. I'm going to just be honest. None of that did anything for me. And I think it's just because I think we're so past that when it comes to things with Nintendo and, Sony and Microsoft. But, hey, again, they're doing their own way of doing it. Maybe it might work out. I'm sure there's some diehards that are going to be like, yeah, I got the app and whatever. It does nothing for me. And again, Breath, I don't understand. As much as great as Breath of the Wild, and I'm sure Tears of the Wild are, I just don't see it. I felt the same way. I'm going to keep the same energy because I felt the same way with Sony giving us like the third reiteration or whatever of Last of Us. It's like, okay, you're bleeding that game dry. At this point, it's kind of like, all right. And I feel like if you're going to bring it back out, it should not be priced at the price you're selling it for at this point.
Yeah, see, I actually think it's like wonderful when a lot of the companies update their games for the new hardware, right? Regardless if it's PC or console.
Mm-hmm.
What's frustrating is it could be a legit reason for you to just upgrade your console. Instead, you need to upgrade your console, then you need to pay to upgrade your game, right?
Right.
And that's where I think Microsoft actually did something great that they don't get credit for, in that like your game's just kind of upgraded with you when you bought the new hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like if it was just all about like bringing your stuff with you and everything getting upgraded and wonderful, I would be like, all right, well, let's hop in. And it makes sense to cover all of the hits that you have that people love and say it'll run even better here, right? Makes sense. But when you try to staple on like nickel and diming someone out of that, it is frustrating, because then you see companies like 4A Games, right, with Metro Exodus, where they released an entirely updated version of Metro Exodus that completely gutted its lighting system and replaced it with full ray trace global illumination on all platforms for free. And they're not pushing the hardware. They don't benefit if you buy an Xbox Series X, right? But they wanted people to come play their game, and they knew if they could get the audience that already has it to play it on the new systems, that could drum up some form of getting people to buy this. Nintendo and PlayStation and like companies like EA and Activision and 2K trying to sell these paid upgrades is nothing more than fleecing people. It is nothing more than fleecing people, and I can say that because there are market competitors that compete with them directly that do it for free.
Yeah, the problem with this though, and this is the problem I have with this pricing, because now tariffs will be used as a bludgeon to get that payment across cost. Get
Correct.
that upgrade pricing across for all these games. We were already fearful of 2K doing that and going $100 for Grand Theft Auto. This right here incentivizes them further, especially knowing that these Nintendo drones are going to buy it. And the Nintendo fans, I made jokes about this. I know, Danny, you have. They bought cardboard. If you buy cardboard, you buy anything from them. So at this point, I'm terrified at what this is going to mean for game prices.
You're terrified.
I am, because
you're terrified of the tariffs.
I'm terrified of the tariffs. I was on Boom Show the other day. I put tariffed Umbra, and the reason why is because I feel like this could hurt gaming in general. It's not just
it
like
will.
I'm like, oh no,
It
I
will.
don't want to pay more. It's like I feel like this is going to hurt.
I mean, it's gonna hurt
Yeah.
every industry,
Yeah.
to be clear.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, definitely gaming also,
One
especially
thing
since
that
it's a luxury.
Bobby
One
Hawk
thing
said,
you
so
should
you're telling
note-
me to get the Xbox handheld. Yes, Bobby, get it.
I mean, yeah, but like, who knows what the fuck Microsoft's cooking up there, and if it'll be good or not. Like,
I mean, honestly,
I'm not
that
giving them
Xbox
any
is
benefit
cooking.
of the doubt.
Right.
What I'm genuinely recommending is like maybe for the next couple of years, you just like don't invest in any like really big
Right.
purchases because shit's not about to get better.
Yeah.
Exactly. Abdel just said, like as you were saying, that he said 3DS didn't sell well, so Nintendo cut the price in less than a year.
Yeah.
Vote with your wallet, gamers. Don't support.
Yeah,
$90
don't buy
games.
it.
That's right.
Don't buy it. Don't buy the games. If the price is too much, and it is, don't buy it.
I wish
One
we could
thing that
get to
should be
them, but I
noted-
don't believe they'll listen to us.
Digital games are intrinsically not impacted by tariffs. The digital versions, because they are not imported.
Right.
There is no import fee. There is no duty fee. You are not paying a tax on that because you are not importing it. Because technically, the digital service is rendered within the United States. So any price increase on digital content that you see from a company, call that shit the fuck out immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
This is
It's a
definitely
lie.
price gouging, right? The thing
That is straight up price gouging if digital
100%.
prices go up.
And
yeah,
you will see it.
100%.
You'll
will
see
happen.
it. Yeah.
They'll get away
Yeah.
with it though. That's the problem. And so that's my thing is we would have to, people would have to abstain, and I don't think these gamers will do that for Nintendo. Again, they bought cardboard. They'll buy this.
Look, I'll just tell you, I'm doing my part. I ain't gonna be buying none of this stuff.
I
Was I
did.
gonna
I'm
buy it
doing my
before?
part.
Like straight, honestly, like 50-50. Like before all of this, my likelihood of buying a Switch 2 in the next year was probably like 50-50. Now it is straight up like 0.
So I was probably at 50-50 before the Direct. During the Direct, I was actually close to 90-100% going to get one. And then the prices came out and I went to 0.
Yeah.
Like, it was the wildest. Like, our Discord chat, when we were watching this, was the wildest shit. Because everyone was kind of like...
hours.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, man. And then we were like, oh, man. Oh, man. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah, and like the price for the console, that doesn't bother me. I'm not even. I hear like.
Yeah,
let me read
I'm
Red.
also not bothered.
Red pointed out
Yeah.
that the Switch 2 where she is $799.99, so $800, and that's the same
Jesus
price she paid
Christ.
for her Series X.
Is that Canada? Or no,
That's-
not Canada. Is that Australia? Is
Well,
that
the
odd?
The offshoot of Australia, which is New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand.
So
New
the
Zealand.
USD for X was $500. So why the same fucking price? Agreed. It's a tough pill to swallow. I would say. Let's go ahead and move ahead a bit though, because we're running out of time. Santi Lou, by the way, thank you, lovely Santi. Drops $1. Generous. Boom. Shout out. $1.99 donation to us. Just says, I'm waiting for one Nintendo game and one Nintendo game only.
Animal Crossing.
You know,
I'm actually
surprised it
genuinely
wasn't
shocked.
there. Yeah, I was surprised
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Not that there wasn't a new one. That
It did get an
like,
upgrade.
I was exactly.
Oh yeah.
That they were like,
So-
we're gonna give an upgrade to fucking Kirby, but not Animal Crossing. Animal
Yeah.
Crossing like sold like crazy
It did.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it did.
I will
You don't got
say,
nothing for
how
me?
do you upgrade Animal Crossing for the
You-
Switch?
You
How do you
add,
do that?
Add
Like,
frame
what do you
appeal.
do to it?
you appeal to the furries.
Yeah.
I won't say how. You appeal to the furries.
They got it. It's a
But
lot
it's
of
just-
cheap
it's
ways
just
they can
like-
do it.
New furniture.
Yeah.
Well,
new items.
Like,
that
I guess you
build
could add a
with, all
DLC,
that.
but why wouldn't you also just release that DLC on the original Switch? Like that's
Well,
where
yeah,
I'm like,
Should.
Well,
Because-
why aren't they releasing the Kirby one on the original thing? Because it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
I don't know. So that I'm curious if like if they've added enough assets into it that like it physically would run at like 4 FPS on the Switch.
I'm not willing to give that to them. They haven't earned. They haven't earned the benefit of the doubt from me.
I'm not gonna give that to them until someone who analyzes it allows me to give it to them. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So a Kirby,
Like,
Go
yeah.
ahead, what were you saying?
I was gonna say if it's a situation where like Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty
Mm-hmm.
isn't on the last gen systems because it won't run on the last gen systems,
Right.
or is it? If it is, it's like 4 FPS. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be on the last gen systems.
I don't. Yeah, I doubt it.
I
will
don't think it
even-
is.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
Cyberpunk can even run on the original Switch at all.
I don't
But,
think it's gonna run well on this one.
but,
to be honest with you.
That's
you
my
know,
worry, yeah.
If they're making, if there's a DLC and they're releasing the DLC and they're saying this DLC is only for the new system, that's something we've seen.
Yeah.
So I could believe that as a reasonable explanation as to why the Forgotten Land expansion isn't on the Switch. It feels kind of ridiculous saying it about Nintendo, mind you.
Yeah.
But I would accept it as a reason.
Well, with Kirby
If
yeah.
someone analyzing it tells me that it's reasonable.
Yeah, so going to your point there, to getting a new a story mode or story called rather, Star-Crossed World, that will include a new mouthful modes to utilize. That sounds terrible. Here's a mouthful mode. What?
No, I love the mouthful.
Yeah. The
is
forbidden
it's
glaze,
cursed.
forgotten glaze. That's what that is.
Yeah.
So I have very, very little interest in Kirby. I all love for the character. Just I've grown past that. I don't know how else best to say it. By the way, Metroid Prime 4. Shout out to Abdel in the chat. He was saying he's hyped for this, but he'll get it on the original Switch. Which they have this cross gen. So, and I'll be honest, and I'll ask you guys quickly on it. Did this look visually impressive to you on either? Because it looked the same to me.
So, here's the thing about me. I don't care. Visually impressive. I play fucking Xbox 360 games all the time. I'm playing Sly Cooper 2 right now, for God's sake.
Great
like,
game.
I don't
Great
care.
Yeah.
The visuals do not matter to me. What you're doing in the game matters to me far more than anything. Visuals are just a nice plus on top that makes me think higher of the game than otherwise I would.
Okay. So, Abdel asked about the Devil May Cry. Yes, I'm actually watching that tonight, Abdel. If for those that don't know, Devil May Cry anime on Netflix is live today. I'm going to check that out. Yes. Okay, I'll skip ahead.
I was going to say to Bobby Hawk
Yeah.
about the Final Fantasy remake being $80. I actually don't think it will, because we have the pricings for 2 third-party games so far. The Street Fighter game is $60, and the Bravely Default remake from Square Enix is $40. So I wouldn't expect them to be a different price than like what you see on other platforms. I'd expect it to be integrated to be $70.
Bravely. So yeah, a lot of this is the thing for me. Like again, I got love for the franchises. It's just that none of these really do anything for me. Metroid Prime 4 looks very stale to me. Looks slow. Maybe they're going to improve it by the point, and I'm sure it's going to be a great game. It just doesn't like. I'm not like seeing it and I'm like, yeah. No. Kirby does nothing for me. The only games that really will do it for me is Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart World, and Mario in general.
Mario Kart Forza Horizon did look pretty dope to me.
It did look good. Super Mario Party, Jamboree. I know it's it's on.
That's a Switch game.
Yeah. And
it's a Switch game that added Kinect support.
Yeah, they get an expanded version here with the camera and all that. I saw that. So that's cool. But none of the that's the tough sell for me for Nintendo. It's just a lot of these games I feel like I've outgrown. Now this was weird. Just to throw it out there, the whole welcome tour thing, which I would have.
Yeah, they're fucking charging for this shit.
Money for that. They want you to give them money.
I'm like, why
for worse Astro Bot.
Yeah, right. Like,
yeah.
I have a friend who, God bless her, she is like a Nintendo all the way. She loves PlayStation though, and she played Hi-Fi Rush when it came to PlayStation. She loved that, right? She grew up on Nintendo stuff, right? She went to Twitter and was like, "You're charging the fuck for what? For something that is just slop compared to Astro Bot?" Because Astro Bot was just a fucking demo too, but it had a soul to it at least.
Yeah,
enough to spawn a fucking great 3D standalone $60 3D platformer. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this, Nintendo?
Yeah, I was expecting some gameplay stuff to happen. It's like, oh, this magnetic clip will do this. I'm like, what? And that's it. And it's like, oh, it, paid for blah blah blah. I'm like, what? Paid digital title.
They made Astro Bot, but didn't understand why people enjoyed Astro Bot.
And what if this ends up being like one of their best sellers? I'm going to be really upset with Nintendo fanboys if they do this.
I'm
almost afraid that they will buy this. Anyway, Magnum, thanks, brother. I got to figure this volume thing out with myself because I'm bad at it on my end. Soil Tech drops a $4.99, basically. Donation, a generous $5 donation. Thank you, Soil Tech, brother. He says, hit the like and subscribe. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate your continued love and support. what was it? I was going to ask. Okay, so they had this too, Dragon Drive, which we were. I'm not trying to sound ableist or anything. We were kind of mocking this. It was just kind of hilarious.
It's the controls that look like shit.
Yeah, that's what it was. The controls, and then you kind of like, I don't know, like if this is going to have mass appeal. Shout out to the being accessible to everybody, because I'm sure there are some gamers who are wheelchair bound, and they're like, oh, that's cool. I get to, game and basketball in my wheelchair on the game. I did love when it's basically Rocket League with like wheelchairs, and I saw the guy do like a 1080 dunk. I was like, oh, that looked dope as hell. I won't lie, but other than that, I don't see any. Yeah, they got the Nintendo GameCube games coming. This is the thing for me too. Okay, how can I say this without getting sued by Nintendo?
Oh,
everything the light touches is our kingdom. But the thing about these these older games they're showing here, none of this wows me. Like, I gotta get a Switch for this, especially when they can be procured elsewhere. So none of this. All of this missed me. Now, this got me. Dusk Bloods. And this is the crazy thing, because I know there's two major sticking points that everybody pointed out. One which was its fan pointed out in the chat, which is, speaking of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Square Enix better bring that Final Fantasy game to Xbox, because UF's promised multi-platform. That's one weird thing. I'm sure they're going to announce it soon, right? Like the June showcase. But I kind of feel like,
I think we get it before
wait
June.
until June, Microsoft, at this point. If you got it, say it.
My turn to be mad.
Crusader, go ahead, because I know you had a tweet.
I was so fucking pissed. What do you mean that Xbox has had two consoles in the time that Final Fantasy VII Remake has been out that could run it? What do you mean, Phil Spencer, that Nintendo gets it announced for their system before your players get it announced for yours? I don't care how long it's been. It is the precipice of, are third parties actually going to support this console?
Yeah,
or are they going to abandon the console?
This isn't.
It is.
I don't even think this is a third party thing. Square Enix wants to put it on there. This is just PlayStation
I agree.
fucking around.
And Nate the Hate reiterated that it's basically we're waiting for Square Enix / Xbox to jointly announce it together. I thought, okay, maybe it'll be a 24-hour thing, because a lot of the Japanese companies do this stupid fucking shit where they like can't talk about shit for 24 hours. Microsoft did it with Atlas for Atlas stuff, which I always found was dumb. That the games couldn't be announced for other platforms for 24 hours.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was that. I genuinely believe Microsoft is going to be sitting here, and they're going to have people being like, what the fuck do you mean this still isn't on your platform for 2 months? And they're going to announce it, and they're going to act like it's all glorious at their showcase. And at this point, people are just tired. Yeah. It's just annoying. It should just straight up be announced on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Well, don't they have a partner program between now and June anyway? Isn't there one like this month or next month anyway?
Did they confirm one already?
Not that I know of.
But they do one this time of year, like the last 3 years.
If they do, neat, cool.
Yeah.
If they don't, I'm gonna smack someone.
I view this the same way as the Hot Shots Golf and the fucking Patapon thing, where it's just PlayStation fucking around. Like, they're putting it on Nintendo because they're like trying to still pretend that Nintendo's not competition for them. But what it really is they're just being like real tsundere to Xbox, because like they know Big Bro's got the bigger dick, so like they're trying to not let all their friends know.
So,
but I do think we get those ones over on Xbox too. I mean, look, I predicted this shit with fucking PlayStation going third party at the beginning of the year, and I know for a fact as soon as they start seeing sales numbers on Nintendo, they're going to be like, okay, well, we'll put it on Xbox too. Like, all that shit's coming over. They're going to go full slate, just like Xbox. You watch.
I disagree, because if they do nothing, they can just if Microsoft is actually going to allow Steam on the next console, they can do nothing, and the Steam version will just work in 2 years. There's no reason for them to port anything.
I think they'll probably still do it.
But with Square Enix here, Nate the Hate did explicitly say he was the one who leaked this coming to Nintendo and Xbox in the first place way earlier this year. Said that that Rebirth will be coming next year. He got a ton of other stuff right too about dates and all kinds of stuff for Xbox and Nintendo and PlayStation, all kinds of stuff this year. Nate the Hate, one of the best leakers in the industry right now.
Yeah, he's been betting 1,000.
And so he's straight up saying that 7 Remake is coming to Xbox this year.
And Jazz, shout out to Jazz too, because Jazz has also been saying it, and I saw him in the replies. They like, oh, it better be coming. I don't think it's coming. Better yet, Des didn't post it. I don't know. I don't think Final Fantasy is coming at this point. And Jazz was like, it is. So they both know. Shout out to Special Nick too.
I've had some people reaffirm stuff to me in DMs as well. Like,
yeah, it's definitely coming.
That it's definitely coming. But at this point, it's just really fucking bad optics.
It is bad.
Microsoft can't escape catching strays.
Yeah, but it's like such a small stray. Like, no one cares about this anymore. like we care, but like the people on the streets, they don't give a shit. They don't.
It's not so much Remake, but now it's Rebirth too, because Rebirth won all kinds of awards and was a critically acclaimed game last year. Tied in with this.
But Final Fantasy fans hated it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't care what Final Fantasy fans
love
like.
it.
It's an action game.
I think it's mixed because I've heard a lot of that did love it too. That said, Danny, you're right. I mean, it's a thing for hardcore gamers to focus on, and it's a console warring thing. And at the end of the day, ultimately, for a lot of them,
the fact of the matter is, I know I shouldn't say I know for a fact because I don't literally know for a fact, but I am highly confident that like Xbox is over at PlayStation right now, probably already talking to them about getting PlayStation games onto their platform. I guarantee it's happening because we already have some. People want to pretend that PlayStation wasn't the first person to go multi-platform because they're like, oh, the MLB forced them to do it. Or like, oh, they're doing this. And now it's the same shit with the fucking Lego Horizon thing and these 2 ones that got announced last week where they're like, oh, but it's being published by somebody else. It's technically different. Like they're finding all of these fucking hoops to jump through. And it's the same thing as like, oh, well, it's just Minecraft. Oh, well, it's just these 4 titles. Like it's the same thing. Like, open your eyes. They're going full slate. It's going to happen.
The big ones are Patapon Golf and to a lesser extent. What was the other Bandai Namco published one? It was a PSP game.
They did Freedom Wars like 2 years ago.
That's it. It's Freedom Wars. It was last year. Those are the ones that are the actual bigger credence. Though they are. PlayStation is trying to do everything in their power to gracefully do it, to do it slowly.
They're just chicken shit. That's all it is. Is because
they're
they're
not chicken shit. They
are chicken shit.
They control
they're doing
the market.
it because they're chicken shit. They don't control the market. They think they control the market. They have this air of controlling the market, but the fact of the matter is they can't take risks. They don't have money. They don't sell shit. They're not making games. Their console sales are down. Their live service thing is completely screwed. Their VR thing's completely screwed. They're losing money like no one's business. They can't take any risk whatsoever. So they're in the driver's seat, but the wheel over there is the fake one. They got a British car in the American streets, and they're not telling nobody. They're not controlling shit. Xbox is over here making all of the decisions that are driving this industry forward. They're the ones who are saying, let's go multi-platform. They're the ones who are saying, let's let unions happen. They are the ones who are allowing this video game industry to continue fucking existing. They are the people putting this fucking industry on their back right now. And PlayStation is over here pretending that they still give a shit when they don't. They're out here wearing a Rolex that they swapped for a dupe 6 years ago because they don't want people to know their ass is broke.
Listen, I didn't expect them to come through and cook a 5-course meal tonight for us like this.
To your point, I would argue it would be riskier to port the game to Xbox than to just wait 2 years and just spend no more money to do it.
I mean, that is probably true.
Just use the Steam version.
But the fact of the matter is, I bet Xbox will do it for them. They've done ports for other fuckers before.
That's true. This is also true.
Wrong.
You think Xbox? You think for a second Xbox wouldn't be like, yeah, we'll port that God of War for you?
I'll give you that. 100%.
They've done it for lesser games. They'll probably do it
100%.
again.
But
100%.
To move forward a bit, because Danny, thank you for the full course meal. We were all satiated over here.
Thank you.
And the thing is that Microsoft, just a really quick comment on it, is you're right on that Microsoft often does not get the credit it deserves when it comes to that. Look, Morty Vor says, "What is this Nintendo hate? What Nintendo hate? We're just realists."
No, fucking Nintendo deserves all the fucking
Nintendo's
hate.
Nintendo's getting hate today. I'm sorry. They deserve
they absolutely deserve all the fucking hate.
Yes, he said he got told to come here because there was a lot of hate. I think we're just being real, and some people cannot tolerate it. What's up? Shout out to my good brother Coffee who jumped in on us here. So Nintendo Switch 2 third-party games. This was a major one here. Dusk Bloods. Until I found out some of the details. When I found out some of the details, I was kind of like, I don't really care for the whole PvPvE thing. Like, it seems like it's the standard fare, but it's not. Serenity, I don't know what's wrong with my volume and why it's been like that. But I'm gonna have to do what Gray said earlier and just about get really close. But Dusk Bloods looks really interesting. And I remember when we were watching it, we saw the hands. And they were like, oh, it's Capcom. And I was like, those hands look familiar. And then, sure enough, it pans out From Software. I'm like, that's why it looks familiar. It's the From Software hand. And so this looks really cool. This is a nice get for them, a nice exclusive, something that I know is going to sell crazy on a Switch 2, by the way.
Yeah, probably.
Well, it's not going to have single players, so I don't know if it will. Like,
you don't think so? I don't know,
I
man.
don't know, because it's like an 8-player PvEVP game. Like, it's weird that From is making 2 of these, except the one's not. It's just PvE. I don't know how well this one's gonna do and how well what's the other one that they're making? The Elden Ring spinoff that's like multiplayer.
Night Rain.
I don't know how well those games are going to do overall. The one that's the Elden Ring tie-in that's just basically kind of like a Souls game meets like Monster Hunter might do well. I don't know how well that like a pseudo extraction-ish weird thing with Dusk Bloods. I don't know how well that's gonna do. Because you can't play it solo.
Yeah. But I think that's the
big
thing,
thing
they're encouraging more multiplayer options with the Switch anyway.
I know why Nintendo wants it. I just don't know if the formula will be good enough. And I'm willing to be completely wrong. I'm completely wrong about things all the time. And I'll totally admit if I'm wrong here. It's just that like I don't know how, because like this does not have Nintendo's base audience. Nintendo's base audience is not interested in this. This is something to try and get people who aren't in Nintendo's base audience in. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know how well this is going to attract them.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's not their standard fare. But I think From Software has such cachet around their name that it's going to do well anyway.
Yeah, it's just such a strange choice.
Yeah.
Like, if you had told me that it was legally distinct Bloodborne 2, then I'd been like, holy shit, they fucking just scored.
Right.
When I saw it at first, I was kind of like, is this Bloodborne?
I thought it was legally distinct Bloodborne.
There's
due to international IP rights, we can't call it that.
No way in the world that they snatched Bloodborne from Sony. That would have been a crazy...
God, could you imagine if it was Bloodborne 2 Switch 2 exclusive? I'd have shit my pants.
Man.
Yeah. A lot of money crossed hands on this one, I'll tell you that.
And that's what I thought it was. That's what, like, until we read the blog post, was like, wait, it's 8-player PvEVP. Like, I was like, holy shit. Nintendo making moves. And now I'm like, I understand the move they made here. I just don't think it's a guaranteed win.
So just like obviously Dusk Bloods, I personally don't think between a $450 price point on a console and an $80 to $90 price point on a game, digital or cartridge, I don't think anybody's gonna go out and dump $600 to play From Software game that's not even single player focused.
You need NSO as well.
Like this is a first foray. Like let's be real here. Like I'm a From Software fan. I've played Bloodborne. I've played Elden Ring. I have not completed Elden Ring, but I've completed Bloodborne. Their multiplayer is not the greatest thing. Like they are not experts in the art of multiplayer. As a matter of fact, their multiplayer is quite broken many a times when you're trying to play with other individuals in Elden Ring and in their other I guess there are other times that they try to get into the multiplayer conversation. So the fact that this is something that is strictly multiplayer focused, it's interesting, but it's also concerning at the same time. It's concerning also because I think that Nintendo is pivoting on this as a Switch 2 selling point. And I think they got it all wrong on that. I think if anything, they should have their Switch 2 selling point should always I mean, it's Nintendo. It should always be the same thing. It should always be a Mario platformer, Mario Kart, and a Zelda. Like that. Those are their selling. Those are their heavy hitters.
Killers.
The Zelda game they're coming out with, although it's right before Breath of the Wild, is a Dynasty Warriors ripoff. Mario Kart is, I mean, that's probably the only interesting thing.
Horizon ripoff, but I mean, it's neat, and I kind of want to play it.
Yeah. And then you have the Donkey Kong game that nobody asked for, but that we're getting. So at the end of the day, like, I know a lot of people were going to scream Bloodborne 2 for this one. I think that's a little bit premature. I think that, you know, I mean, even looking at this game running, Bloodborne on PlayStation 4 looks better than this game.
It does.
So like, let's be real here and let's keep our expectations in check. From Software being on this does not mean that this is the end all. This is like the godlike game that we're perceiving it to be. And that is even more evident if it's only a multiplayer game, because they just don't have that. They don't have that experience yet from a single player RPG standpoint. Sure, they're From Software. We know what they can do. But from a multiplayer standpoint, I mean, if I'm going to be honest with myself and the times I've tried it, it's always been a fucking mess to play.
Yeah. They do have a loyal multiplayer community, but their multiplayer is jank as shit.
I'm going to tell you, though, I'm going to say, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Dust Bloods is going to sell crazy for them. As exclusive, I don't know if it'll remain exclusive, whatever, but I think it's going to do well because I think From Software has that it factor going right now. And I think Nintendo fans are going to say, okay, we're going to support this. Not only because they probably are From Software fans on their, because they probably use the Switch as their complementary console to whatever. They're probably From Software fans themselves, some of them, right? They probably just don't see the Switch as that. But having something that's exclusive to multiplayer function, or co-op function, I guess is the better word. In this, I'm telling you, I think this is going to sell like pancakes.
Their plan. I think that is what Nintendo thinks as well. I'm less optimistic, especially in light of everything we have talked about with like the costs of everything and the tariffs and all of that.
Yeah,
that is going to directly. Now, granted, this is also not a launch title. This is coming out at least 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's
right?
another
console comes out in June. This isn't coming out until at least January 1st, 2026.
Yeah.
So let me just I want to answer big Mad Mo over here because I think he's freaking out at what I said about Donkey Kong. I understand the IP of Donkey Kong and what that means to Nintendo fans. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of like the last Donkey Kong game we got was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. And like, did that really move Switch units like it was supposed to? Like, I'm just saying that Donkey Kong, yes, it's a famous IP for Nintendo. Yes, it's a big IP, but it's not a Mario. It's not a Zelda. It's not like it's Donkey Kong. But I'm trying to explain this. Umbra, help me out here. Like, it's not something that I don't think it's any.
Basically, it's not selling. Consoles.
It's definitely down on that like second tier.
I'm going to hit back at that only a little bit because the game basically looks like Mario Odyssey with destructible environment. Just with a Donkey Kong splashed on top.
And I can't wait for the Mario mods on the emulators.
Yeah, so in principle...
Coffee's views did not express the view. It's not supported by the fix. You going to get me caught up?
In principle, while it's not going to ever do what Mario itself does because of the name Mario in general... I'm not willing to sell it off as something that can't sell the system because, like, just genuinely, it's going to play like one of their best-selling games of all time is going to play.
Absolutely, it'll be fantastic for sure.
Yeah, well, but
so I'm not willing to go as far in the gutter with, as other people are because like that game looked like. Again, that was another one of the games that was like, holy shit, maybe I will get a Switch day one.
Oh damn!
Yeah, it looks really good to me.
I thought it looked really bad, but that's, I mean...
It looked bad to you?
I genuinely think it looked like ass, but that's, I mean, I really liked how expressive Donkey Kong was. I think that was cool. I like the animation. The game itself of just like smashing shit seemingly randomly, not
That
interested.
didn't bother me.
The whole world is destructible, apparently.
Moving back to Elden Ring, talking and From Software, I thought Elden Ring looked like ass, personally. I didn't think.
Well,
Donkey Kong-
I mean,
I'm sure
I
it
thought
runs
Elden
worse.
Ring looked like ass.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to Switch to tell me that.
Elden Ring looks
Oh
decent
my
though
Lord.
on a Xbox and such at least.
I
not-
genuinely, I don't think a single FromSoft game looks pretty.
Listen,
I-
I have some.
I
images
think
of
that
Elden
I think they
Ring.
have their audience,
I have
and their
images of
audience
Elden
loves
Ring
them.
right now that will challenge your perception of that. I think that it's still like outdated visuals. Don't get me wrong, but it's still beautiful in its own way in its own art style. I just don't.
Mind
think
you,
it looks,
I think
it
its
just looks
skyboxes
choppy.
look really pretty.
Yeah,
Like
they
when
got
you
nice
are looking
skyboxes,
at a
too.
distance. But I can say that about a lot of games, and I can go as far back as the 360 era saying that about a lot of games.
Yeah,
Those games don't look pretty. Those games really don't look too pretty today.
yeah. Now I'm just wondering how Final Fantasy, since we talked about it, I wonder how that's going to look on here. They only show like a small snippet.
It's gonna look like the Steam Deck version, but like
yeah, we'll see. Because it is Unreal Engine. I always make fun of this with MJ. Shout out to MJ. Where I'm like, I don't think the Switch can handle Unreal. Anyway, that said, I want to kind of move us forward because we are really at the end of this right now.
Yeah, we probably got to get out of here.
Yeah, so I guess I'll do this. Two things we can do this before we sign out is, and chat, you can give your thoughts too. I want to get you guys score and what games moved you the most. So for us here on the panel, I'll start with you, Danny. What was, if anything, what games that moved you? What, like, if anything shown, what did you like? I liked how that looked. Would be interested in playing that, even if it'll be years later or through other means. And what's your thoughts in general of the show and the pricing and all that? What would you rate this show?
I'm already not like a huge Nintendo person, so it probably wasn't likely to speak to me regardless. I think there's some games in it that are interesting. Like I like the Musou games, like the Warriors games, so the Hyrule Warriors one like has me mildly interested. The Deltarune 3 and 4, I know a lot of people are excited for that. The only one that I'm like personally would have been interested in is the GameCube one, but then when you add on all of the information around it, between the pricing and the price gouging and how just like everything just kind of looks like ass, like there are things in this showcase individually that like if you took it out or like changed one or two things about it, it took a couple asterisks off the way in which it was announced, then like there's definitely some things in here that I'd be happy to play. But when you combine all of these things together, it's like if I'm grading this, like if I'm the teacher and my student Mr. Miyamoto hands this shit in, it's getting an F and it says "see me after class" on it. like we have words. We're gonna have words about like, hey man, what the hell do you think you're doing? Like you're acting. Hey, you're usually the good one. I don't know why. Like, is everything okay at home? Like,
He's going in.
Are you being abused? What's happening here?
Yeah, like straight up.
Like
this was.
It's a
good analogy.
We'll see you after school.
It's a good analogy for sure. It's a good analogy. I agree with it.
See me after class. This is unacceptable.
See me after class, I can beat your ass.
Yeah, it's like you answered some of the questions right, but you also put a bunch of slurs in the margin. So like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah. I forewarned people. I said you all should tune in Thursday. It's going to be something special because I already knew you were going to bring some of the heat for this. Yeah, so that was funny. Crusader, same for you. What games wowed you? What moved you? What would be your score? Oh, Danny, what was your score, by the way?
F.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't
know how it could have gotten
1 out of
worse.
2 or a 2 out of 10, maybe.
At like a number wise.
Yeah. What would you do numerically?
Probably like a 2.5.
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm like there's a couple of things that I'm in there where it's like if I comb away the poop, there's a couple of little things in there where I'm like, yeah, I'm like a little bit interested in playing Pokemon Gale of Darkness again. Like that'd be neat. I wish I didn't have to spend $500 and get a piece of shit console for it, but it's fine.
Yeah. Hey, listen, because I see some people are hurt in the chat. Listen, this is not slander. Slander is if he's saying anything untrue. He believes this.
No, it's fine. It's Mortivore. He's like mostly joking. Like we
Yeah.
like him.
He's a big.
We
Nintendo,
love Morty.
as he say, Nintendo fan. He keeps putting that. I made fun of him one time and he stuck with it. Nintendo forever.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the GameCube stuff. I just wish it was also playable on Switch 1. I think price gating that behind the Switch 2 is like a real shitty move.
I agree. I think
that's awful.
Yeah. It's
That
only
was
to force
my
people to the new console. It's really silly. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Crusader?
I mean, so my initial thoughts for the show is I would have given it an 8.5 out of 10. The show in a vacuum convinced me to get a Switch 2. Then everything after the show, which made me feel like, Nintendo grabbed the answer key and cheated on the test to continue with the allegory that we're going with, with all of the insane software prices and some of the stuff, and not all of the stuff they did afterwards was bad. Like, again, saying that like some of the game upgrades would be included with NSO. All right, cool. I already have that. I would have given it an 8.5, but with the context of everything else that they've announced around it, I would have given it like probably a 6 or a 5 out of 10. I was also really excited for GameCube stuff because I have a like an ethical policy when it comes to like using emulators and pirating stuff and whatnot. I have a very strict policy where if I cannot rip the ROM myself for an existing game, so for example Switch stuff, if I do not have access to a jailbroken Switch where I can rip my own copy of the game to play it on my computer, I won't do it. When it comes to abandonware is abandonware. If Nintendo's not going to actually let me play a game from the Game Boy Advance, I don't give a shit. So like I get really excited with like the GameCube NSO stuff. I really wish I could just buy the individual games and not need fucking NSO for it. I don't understand why that's been normalized. We would kill Microsoft or PlayStation if they did that. Hell, people were livid that there was a single version of Resident Evil like that on PS Plus Premium, to the point where they like took it off of PS Plus Premium and like a week later relisted it with a price and put it back on PS Plus Premium. I don't understand why we just let Nintendo get away with their NSO catalog and without them being able to sell it separately.
And that's why I think this is
genuinely don't understand why we've allowed that to be normalized.
Yeah. That's
ludicrous.
Part of why I think Nintendo's going to do really well sales wise, though, because I think they can do things the other two won't.
But the GameCube stuff would stand out to me and would have been reason enough for me to get the new Switch. Because I'm a big fan of upgrading. I'm a very enfranchised gamer, and I'm a big fan of upgrading my hardware to play like ancient games ever so slightly better. Okay, like it's why I got a Series X day one. It wasn't for any new games. It was to play 360 games in an even more stable way than I could on my Xbox One X. It's why I almost got a PS5 Pro. Only held off on it because of the price point of the PS5 Pro. Because the exchange of the PS4 to the PS5 Pro, or the PS5, the PS5 Pro wasn't good enough. But I would almost I'm more inclined to do it for the Switch, just because the Switch One games run like ass. They run like ass. And
did you turn to like some Bostonian on us or something?
Yeah, if I could, and just being able to play those games slightly better would have been great, right? But like it's just not. There's not enough else going on there. Because like I said, I waited till 2020 to get the Switch OLED. I'll wait for the Switch 2 OLED.
I'm kind of thinking that too, being honest.
The only thing that makes me question that and makes it so that there's not a non-zero chance that I won't get a Switch 2 at launch is I really kind of want to play the Mario Kart World game. So like I would have to be able to get it bundled with the Switch because I ain't paying $80 for that shit.
Yeah.
Not happening.
That's why I got to figure out a workaround, man. That's what I was saying.
Not happening.
Yeah.
But if I could get the $500 bundle, and like it's a snap decision, like holy shit, it's available right now in the store, and I'm looking at it, I would do it.
Yeah.
But like, man, I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna sit in line. Certainly not gonna sit in line to grab one.
Morty,
Certainly not
grab
gonna
me a
sit in that
copy
queue
out
to
there.
grab one.
Grab me a copy out in Australia and ship it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your score for this if you had to
So
score it?
show on its own, 8.5. Show in context of everything else that happened yesterday that Nintendo, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I heard one person give it a 5 out of 10 as well. It was one person that did that.
Yeah,
it surprised me, actually, when we
the
were talking
pricing
about
of the games really kills it.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck's the point of the console if not for the software that you're playing on it?
Mm-hmm.
And that price is too atrocious.
Pricing is hurtful, I gotta say.
It's too atrocious.
Yeah. Let me read this for Morty. He drops $1 redo from Australia. He says, happy? Yes, I am. He says, ask Danny what would be his score if the price was like the Switch 1 and games were still $60. What would be your score, Danny?
If not for the pricing, even just like locking certain things behind, I think they're locking like the GameCube thing behind the Switch 2 and also like the DLC for Kirby. There are still things in there that outside of that would still upset me. But I think, I think if the pricing sucks less, I think that bumps it up to like maybe a 6. Because like that's a huge, that really is like the biggest deal is like you're increasing the price of your games for somewhere between like 150% and like 30 or like 130%, depending on like how you look at it. Like if it's to 80 or if it's to 90 or like whatever.
Yeah, depending on the region. Yeah.
So it's like that's too much. Like I'm sorry. Like especially when you consider like I've been over. I won't relitigate it, but it's like you are the people who are least justified in making any move like this. You're putting out a console in 2025 that is less powerful than any of your competitors, and you're doing this on top of that. Like no, like honey, no. I'm sorry, you don't get to do that. Mm-hmm. Your niche is being the small, cheap, weak one for kids. That is your niche. You don't also get to have $90 games.
Right.
Damn.
Stay in your lane.
Damn.
Stay in your damn lane, Nintendo. Nintendo.
That's not even an uncommon opinion because like I cannot believe Richard Hogue. Like I gotta say it again. To be clear, the marketing goal of a major new product / service rollout is not to have me want to see the company burned to the ground. Like they definitely. It's definitely more than just online hate here, right? But I think they'll still sell just fine at launch. But like, there's definitely a subsection of people that are really, really upset beyond just local, loud, meaningless people on the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Big Man Mo says Godfather does what they want, and they get away with it because y'all allow it, Mo. Y'all gotta vote with the wallet this time, brother. You can't allow them to do it. But the thing is, like, even with lost sales, they probably, as far as volumes and units, they'll probably still make up all the money they need with the pricing for the people who pay for it. So I guess it's going to be a wash for them either way.
we saw Nintendo fuck up with a 3DS. And then we saw how they responded to that, and they saved the 3DS. They did. Eventually, they saved the 3DS, but like,
and the Wii U shows that they can fail. So
they didn't save the Wii U. They just killed the Wii U.
They did not. They moved on from the Wii U. They said, "Oops."
Right. But just showing that
they're
not too big to fail is what I meant by.
Yeah, they're not infallible.
Yeah, right. And Coffee, my brother, what would be your view of things shown? What would be your like best games that moved you, if they did? And are you getting it? And what's your score?
Oh, thank you, Umbra, for calling on me. I have had many of conversations with individuals on the Switch too. And at the moment in time, I will essentially break it down to this. Gatekeeping GameCube emulation behind Switch 2 is fucking stupid. Pricing is shit. The chat functionality within is not wanting to be Discord, cough, cough. Games look like I rubbed basically Vaseline all over my monitor when I was looking at them graphics wise. And then of course, they're only getting a 4 out of 10 for me just because of nostalgia and namesake. Get a Steam Deck. I'm done.
Yeah, but thank you for keeping it very succinct. For me, Abdel kind of hit it right on the head. This was exactly how I described it when we talked about it the other day on Discord. 7 out of 10. It didn't wow me. I am interested in getting it. Much like you, Crusader, I'm not sure if I'll wait for the OLED or if I have that kind of FOMO itch for, which I should probably get looked at, for Mario Kart World. And because I did speak to the fellas, I was like, oh, we can do like everybody jump in and let's plays, whatever, here in the Discords. People jump in because it's got like 24 player support and all that. That's cool. So stuff like that did kind of get me. And again, I haven't had a Nintendo product in decades.
Now, Umbra, why are you raising your score? You know Major's not going to share his games with you regardless. What are you doing out here?
This is a bid to get MJ to share his games with me.
What are you doing out here?
I came to a 7 out of 10, though. That was my score initially. I think my tone of how I reviewed the score sounded far, far worse. So they were like, oh, you gave it like a 2. But no, it was a 7 out of 10 for me. But the pricing, though, the console pricing doesn't bother me. I think that's fine enough. They probably added $50 more to prepare for the tariffs. Cool, got it, understood. I don't know how long that's gonna last with the tariffs. It might get worse, after the first stock goes through. Who knows? But nothing really wowed me. Mario World Kart looks good. I'm on the opposite end of Danny, where I thought Donkey Kong Bonanza looked pretty damn good to me. I like the destructibility. And running around.
I concur with that.
Fun.
Umbra, were you waiting for a carjacking mechanic in Mario Kart? Because I was.
Yeah, what type of mechanic?
I'd bump my score up that.
Like getting off your vehicle, carjacking mechanic. I think that would be just imagine just being Mario and parking your cart, getting off, waiting for Princess Peach to drive by, throwing a shell at her dome, knocking her off her cart, taking her cart, and basically just taking off. Like, come on, bro.
I didn't expect that, but that'd have been funny if it were that. They did have that. Morty says that I'll share mine with you if you raise your score. Okay, it was an 8 out of 10 show. That'll
oh my God, this guy.
Yeah, wink, wink.
He's out here, bro.
Abdel, Sydney Sweeney and Haley Atwell. He says Sydney Sweeney is greater than Haley Atwell. I don't know, brother. They're both beautiful women.
Yeah, I saw one earlier where it was like Miranda Cosgrove greater than Ana de Armas, and I just ignored it because I was like, that boy ain't right.
Haley Atwell, did she play the female in the first Captain America?
Yeah, Haley Atwell. That's her. Yeah.
Yes,
that was her.
That's Peggy.
That's Peggy Carter.
They have a fine pair of assets, both of them.
That's Peggy.
I'll tell you that right now.
Peggy is fine as hell.
Yeah, they got.
But so my score was a 7 out of 10. I don't like the pricing, but I get why they moved it. Well, I get that they were being greedy to use the tariffs as an excuse. The problem I have with it is that it's a bad precedent that's going to be pushed on other games. So I can't celebrate them for that, right? That's the bad part that I think hurts gaming. And people will, the games back in the Super Nintendo was 70, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's when our cost of living and our wages matched well enough where we can.
When eggs were at $12 a carton.
Right.
That was when a person working at a car factory could afford to buy one off the line every now and then.
Exactly. Now we're in a different economic situation, so I can't justify that with what's going on in this world. It's not the same, and people ignore that context to try to push their Nintendo love, I guess. So
how many times at work I say, hell no, I can't afford this stuff. I work here. Like looking at the clothes we sell at that store. Like,
what do you think I work at? Right.
It's like a $500 sweater. You think I can afford that? I gotta pay rent and get groceries and shit. Like, hell no.
I gotta live, right? So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Mario Kart World looked good. Donkey Kong Bonanza looked pretty good to me. I don't think anything else really. I'm trying to think of anything else kind of. Dusk Blood was cool to see. I don't know if I'll get it or if I'll really get focused in that because I don't care for the style of that world necessarily, being some type of extraction thing. I don't know if that's for me from them. I prefer single player, adventure from software. So I don't know. But I didn't have enough. But from my understanding, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong, they have more to show. So they have one on the 17th coming up, right? April 17th. And I think it's one more after that. We'll probably get more first party games shown. Is that the truth of that?
So one of the reports was I don't want to credit it to Nate, because if it's wrong, I don't want to credit something to Nate when he has like an immaculate track record right now. But I had heard something about they have a June Direct as well slated,
That'd
and the
be
June
cool.
Direct, that's like the standard E3 Direct, was supposed to have more stuff that's later in the year, because most of the stuff that they showed at this one, minus like the third party stuff, and I'm including the FromSoft display, they're publishing it, but like excluding that, most of the stuff that they showed that was in-house is stuff that is coming near launch or at launch, right?
Mhm.
They didn't really show any first-party stuff that's post-launch. Again, outside of the FromSoft game, which is, they're publishing.
Okay. So, yeah, I will give them the latitude, if you will, to impress me with more stuff and, as Kay would say, regale me with more. Angelina Serini, I'm pretty sure you're new here. I don't think I remember seeing you before. Hello, welcome. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do, and that goes to everybody. She asks us a question. She says, if you like Star Wars, do you think
Yes.
Keanu Reeves would play a great Darth Raven from Knights of the Old Republic gang? What do you guys
Yes.
think? Revan,
I've
rather.
seen the mock-up that she's talking about. Yes.
I think he would look good, but and look, I love Keanu Reeves, but he does not have the emotional range that I would need for a Dark.
He absolutely does not
Yeah.
have the emotional range. He'd be like,
I think
"Wow."
he'd look great. Look, if he wants to do a cosplay and like start an OnlyFans, I'm down. But like, I just don't want to. No.
Like, well, the Force is with you. Well,
I would be there day one.
Actually, I got
I
nothing.
still see it.
Keanu
I'd for
was
sure
a
still
dope
see
dude.
it.
Yeah,
Well,
he's got the emotional range of an eraser.
Yeah, I got nothing but love for Keanu though. He's just a good human. You know what I mean?
I don't know who I would cast. Oh, maybe that guy from I don't know if anyone else has even watched it, but the guy who plays Sauron in the Rings of Power TV show, he does a
That
really
would be
good
good
job
too.
of
You're not
bouncing
wrong.
back and forth between like
Yeah.
super
You know,
dark
I
and,
stopped
like,
watching that during I think the end of the first season, so I don't even know who
Yeah.
that is. I have to
He,
look into
I forget the
That-
actor's name, but I think
That
he
would
do
be
a
really
job.
good.
She Angelina says, and if you both played We Happy Few, I've been working on some great ideas for a We Happy Few sequel on my phone. That sounds good. So share it to us. Come back on the future episodes, Angelina, and also check us out on our socials, which is in the description down below. We have to get out of here now, but I am definitely interested in hearing your thoughts. Morty Ford damned me. He says, "Damn you, read my comment." Okay. He says currently Treehouse and what is this? Treehouse and showing people play the game. Sean, what language are you trying to write in?
Oh, the
Currently
Nintendo Treehouse.
Okay.
So
that happening
Nintendo
right now?
Treehouses are them demoing games.
Okay. And the people play the games shown. A direct in June just before launch, and then
Yeah.
around August will be direct for a wave
Direct
2.
wave. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I had seen too. I don't know if the direct in June or the one in August have been outright confirmed. That I haven't seen, but like that's what I have also heard is a direct in June and then a wave 2 direct in August, which supposedly they're handling the Switch stuff in waves, where like the initial stuff was supposed to focus mostly on first party. There's gonna be like a wave of third party stuff happening like post launch, and then a deeper wave of third party stuff, because supposedly a lot of developers don't have dev kits yet. Like a lot of developers don't have dev kits yet.
Might
Third
take him
party.
a while then.
Yeah. I have to say, like, even from what I saw, it seemed like a lot of the stuff seems underdeveloped. Like Metroid Prime 4 when they showed them. Like, that looks like that's a year or two out almost. But that said, Angelina did ask, too, if we played them. Yeah, I played it with Happy Few. I'm sure all of the guys here did.
I have not. It's
was
on my
it-
list.
Yeah, I
Was it?
enjoyed it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It is
Yeah,
on my
It's not
list.
like a groundbreaker or anything. I think it was a lot of really great ideas, just not executed super well.
Yeah,
You know?
I would agree with that. I wasn't wowed by it, if that makes sense. I am playing their current new game, Angelina, which you all should check out, which is South of
of
Midnight,
Midnight.
which
Yeah,
will be giving
baby.
a giveaway for that next week. By the way, I would have done it today. Again, got behind, fell asleep, got behind and messed that up. So next week I'll be giving a giveaway for South of Midnight and for possibly, more than likely, for AC Shadows. So you all stay tuned and pay attention to the socials for that, so I can post, I guess, the contest entry.
Let me get my burner accounts ready. I'm sorry,
go.
wait, what?
Yeah. Listen, I know some people pulled that, had like 3 different accounts, 4 different accounts, asking, like, yay, I subscribed. I'm like, who are you?
Hey, look, engagement's engagement. I don't care
Absolutely.
if it's bots. Y'all show up.
I expect those games to be shared with me, by the way, Mordivore, after I soiled the process by giving it one more point. But, yeah, listen, thank you guys for being here with us tonight. If you have not done so, please hit that like button before you leave. And if you haven't done so, subscribe. I saw somebody subscribed earlier. I heard the notification, so thank you to whoever that was. Stilo, the AC Shadows is dope, brother. I have to say. I'm not giving it the due glazing it deserves. The game is just phenomenal, in my opinion. Now, it's been a while, too, for me for that. I was on Unity was the last one I was playing, so I skipped all the way past all the other games to go straight to this, since I know it had very limited animus nonsense or whatever. Yeah, dope game though. That said, man, let's get out of here. Crusader, my brother, tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
Yeah, you can find me at Crusader3456 on most social medias. I will be desperately watching for an Oblivion remake announcement in the month of April. Boys, I need it.
Didn't allegedly supposed to happen today where we supposed to heard that?
That was the leak from Detective Seeds, who we weren't sure if it was credible or not, though he backtracked it late yesterday and said it could be today, it could be sometime next week.
Okay.
So it's gonna happen by June, according to Nate the Hate, which is all I really need to know. But like, man, I really would like it to happen soon so that I can just forget my troubles and go back to a time when Oblivion was first released.
A simpler time.
A simpler time, if you will. So you'll see me talking about that, and you'll probably see me. I've been playing a bunch of I've been playing the Sly Cooper games on PS5. So you'll probably also see me being very angry at Sony for not having the Ratchet and Clank games on PS Plus Classics, so that I can natively play them in the emulator. So that's what you can expect to see me doing.
Nice, very nice. Thank you again, brother, for joining us. Shout out to Coffee. He had to go. He jumped in and did his thing, and he had to get out of here. But and Daniel J. McGee, tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
Sure, yeah. So, first of all, let me start by saying, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, to The Fix, please go ahead and do that. We're getting actually really close to 2K, and it'd be great if we could cross that, hopefully before anything starts happening in June. I think that's a good milestone for us. We're like about 200 away, a little bit more. So the closer we get to that, the better. Also, you can find me on my other podcast, Ready Set Replay. I just dropped it in the chat a little bit ago. We're talking about pop culture news. We're talking about retro video games. And we're talking about Star Trek. So we have a lot of fun over there, and I'd really appreciate seeing some of you guys. It's brand new. We've only been running that podcast for just about 2 months now. So it is very small, and literally any support that we can get from y'all would be very, very much appreciated, especially from you, Morty, because you've been talking a lot of shit about me today. You owe me one. Go over there and subscribe. You don't got to watch nothing. Just go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, please. He put the link in the chat right there. If you all could do us all a favor, go to that link and subscribe to Danny and Skylar's podcast there for Ready, Set, Replay. They do great commentary, as you guys know. Hearing Danny here, you would know, obviously, you're going to have a good time there. So definitely, please go subscribe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, thank you very much.
Indeed. KC. So myself, of course, Infinite Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way on social media. Angelina Serini. So check us out for that in the description, by the way, because you'll find us. I got to add your information, by the way, Crusader. Later, I will.
All good.
And yeah, check us out there on social media in the descriptions, and come back again. We just so you guys will know, Thursdays we go live here at 8:00 Eastern. Typically, I was a little behind today. I overslept. My fault. My apologies, everybody. But yeah, typically we are oiled, not oiled machine. No, I'm joking. And you can so besides finding me on social media there, you can also find me on the Infinite Podcast, which will be tomorrow at 7:00 Eastern. And nice, thanks, KC. That's myself, Risky for the Biscuit is host, that blue number, Spriggan, aka Dante Moody, and the Garuda Intruder when he gets available to make it. And we have a great time there as well. I think you guys will like it, so come by. And you'll see me posting it on my my timeline, so come by and say hi there as well. And Tuesdays, the Xbox Factor with Boom and Jamie Moran. It's a really great show. We have a good time there, too, so come by as well. That's Tuesdays at 12:00 Eastern. So, yeah. Other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here. I hope you guys have a good week. And, you know, fight the power. Don't pay Nintendo to rob us. Don't sue me, Nintendo. So you guys have a good one.